Hey, imontheedge my seat here, back again with another brand new video. So today I will be no damaging the entire game of Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. And by the entire game, I mean most of it, because there are some sections which are actually impossible to no damage. And if they are possible, show me a video where someone has done it, because I have not found anything. So anyways, for that first room, just kind of like run to the left, kind of keep to the side, and then kind of climb up there. Like the enemy on the left won't see you, so just kind of pretty much take the same path I took. And in this area there's only one enemy, so just kind of wait a little bit, like maybe 1 or 2 seconds, and then run down the hallway to pretty much hold the enemy up and then knock him out and go from there. So yeah, that room is done. And this game, okay, so this game I'll be pretty much no damaging a majority of the game, though I will not be getting the big boss run because one, I'll talk about that later, and two, I used a lot more saves than is required of the big boss run. Or oh yeah, wait, so for that room, pretty much just pop out and knock them out. You have to be very quick with like popping them out, or else they might like look in your direction and they'll end your like little stealth run. And in this room, pretty much just like kind of do a nice little roll there for style, and then like skip the cutscene which happens. And yeah, sometimes like these cutscenes will like pop up during the gameplay, just kind of skip them. So anyways, here what I do is I run up to this point, I pretty much stick to the wall until the camera turns away, and then I move forward. Now some of the other strategies I've seen, like they just straight run through the area and like they get through, but every time I tried to do it I got caught, and like I took a safer route that time. And also entering the locker there is just to get a chaff grenade, though entering the locker was not necessary. So anyways, once you enter this part of the room, hold this guy up and then knock him out, and then go to this wall right here and pretty much just make some noise to attract this guy to come over there, because we're gonna crawl under these lasers here. And now here I got stuck there because if you like crouch near a body, you can't lie down. So like it's just a little bit of an unfortunate like physics like happenstance or whatever. So yeah, pretty much. And also when you're crawling under those lasers, like equip and unequip your weapon and you'll move faster. And now here we're going to be entering the Olga fight, which is a pretty complicated like encounter. And yeah, so as I was mentioning, I'm not doing a big boss run because I used a lot more saves than 8. This is a segmented run of the game. It is not something I did entirely in one go. Now, which parts I segmented and which parts I didn't, I don't really remember. I mean, I'd have to pretty much check the video files I have, and I don't know, in the video it's not too noticeable. There might be a few jumps here and there to kind of show that it is segmented, but it's not as noticeable as some of my other videos which I attempt to segmented run. So anyways, here we're going to start the fight off by standing in this little part right here, just kind of waiting for Olga to, well, she did something a little weird there. She pulled out a grenade, and I didn't really want her to do that. But anyways, like, I don't know, pretty much we're waiting for her to get to that position so that we can like run over here without being seen by her while she's still aiming over there, so we can get a shot at her. However, I kind of screwed that up. I missed my shot. However, I ended up kind of lucky, because now she's shooting over there, which gives me nobody here. And how does she teleport there during the cutscene, bro? What? Come on. Like, yo. So it was here where I'm just gonna take a nice little shot at her once I get an opening, and she's gonna stand up. It's gonna be like, whoa, boom. So like, I don't know, when you're moving between these places, it's like, do it while Olga's like in the middle of something, I don't know. And here I'm gonna be very unlucky because Olga's kind of shooting in my direction, but I can't get a shot at her because I'm blocked here, so I can't do anything. So ideally I would want to go to the other side, but I'm being shot at, so I can't really move at the moment. But yeah, I forgot exactly when you like move through these places, but do it when she's like not looking or whatnot, so she gets confused. Like, I don't know, if you don't see an exclamation mark while you're moving between the areas, then you should be fine, and you might have fooled her. Boom, got my pot shot there. So yeah, just like don't like stick very close to the cover, but like move through it. I think that should help quite a bit. And also I'm playing on European Extreme, which means that if she shoots you, it's a one-hit kill. So even if you don't want to, you do have to no damage this, because there is no other way to get through it. And also you're forced to use the non-lethal option here. Now, for a big boss run, you actually have to completely do everything non-lethal. However, I'll get to that later. So yeah, I'm not doing a big boss run, but I am no damaging a majority of the game while on European Extreme, which can definitely be a challenge in and of itself, when the game like will put you in situations where you'll have to take no damage regardless of your preference, and regardless of whether you're trying to make a video of it or not. So yeah, like, I don't know, this entire fight so far has kind of been like, get her in a position where you can take pot shots at her. However, things will get complicated when she starts using the environment to her advantage like that. boom, boom. Now on the lower difficulties, you can actually like get around this. Like you can shoot the flag off so you can actually see her. However, on European Extreme, you can't do that. Well, actually, I'm a little unsure if you can't shoot off the flag. Like you might be able to, but I don't need to. So pretty much what I do is I wait for her to like throw a grenade, like be in the middle of throwing a grenade, to run to the other side, because she'll throw the grenade to where my previous position was, and then like while she's in the middle of that, I'll have enough time to run to the other side and take a shot at her. Though I kind of screwed it up, but thankfully instead of shooting me, she just shot another grenade. And then ideally, once you like shoot her after the flag incident, she'll shoot the flag off and then start relying on this light here. However, I kind of screwed up what I was going for because I ran out of ammo and also I was just missing my shots. So like ideally when you're like shooting her while the flag is like kind of up, you want to go for like a headshot, you know, like big meaty damage in order to make her so tired that she starts limping to get to the light, because you can run to the other side of like this like map here, and then while she's like limping to like the position, you can kind of get a few shots in there before she reaches the light. However, I screwed it up. So instead, the way I deal with her with the light is I make it that she shines the light on like the right side of your area, and then like when she's in the middle of throwing a grenade, I run to the left side, and then she'll finish throwing the grenade, then she'll like take a little bit of time to also shoot the light. So there's your opening to kind of get a shot in there. However, it's a little tricky because you have to run to like way to the left side, because if you're just like kind of on the left side, the light will still blind you. So but if you're on the left, like all the way to the left, like there's a small like opening where you can kind of see her, and that's where you take your chance. And then once you take your chance, like she'll be recovering from the time you shot her, and then you'll have like a nice clear vantage point to just kind of keep shooting her until the fight's over. And that's kind of what you do when you screw up the strat to avoid the light. That's how you deal with the light. So anyways, here I climbed up to that tower there to get a silencer for my USP, which is like useful for a certain strat I do coming up. And also I think it only shows up on a clear save file, aka a save file which you've already beat the game. So yeah, I have already beaten this game. Well, this game I have beaten multiple times. So anyways, here, hold that guard up, then we're gonna grab it over here to kind of move him, and then whoa, he's getting a little struggly there, and then boom, hold him up again, knock him out, and then we're gonna make some noise to attract the other guard. And oh no. So ideally, I would want to like shoot out so these bombs here, you can disable them by shooting out the green glowing thing there. However, I don't have any ammo, so instead went back to crawling, and crawling worked pretty well. So all right, let's go here, hang here for some style, some nice advantage there, and we're gonna go from there. So here, we're going to move to the right. We're going to pull out our chaff grenade, whatever it's called. And then there's going to be a guard over there. So we're going to knock him out before he looks at us. And the chaff grenade should start kicking in now. Boom. So we can run past the camera. Don't have to be all slow and methodical with it. Just run straight past it. Yeah. And man, so this game. Now, the Metal Gear Solid series is something which I hold very near and dear to my heart. Though my favorites are easily the PS2 games. And also, I mean, ironically enough, the very first video on my channel is a review of a Metal Gear Solid game, though it is a pretty early effort and it's not very substantial. But hey, I mean, it may have taken 4 years, but I'm finally back to making a Metal Gear video. So what I did in the previous room was I looked at the guard's shadow, and then when the shadow left, that's when you have a chance to get to that guy, run behind him and hold him up. Because if you run too soon, before the guard is looking away, then he's going to look at you and there's going to be a whole big issue. You don't want that. So anyways, here, I knocked the guy out there, and then I shoot the glass to kind of draw that guard's attention, though I don't think it worked, because usually what would happen when you do that is that a split screen would kind of show up a screen would show up near the top of your screen, showing that you caught the guard's attention. But here, I guess he was only distracted by the body. So anyways, here we're going to go to the engine room, and we're going to have to be very fast about this. Boom, kind of hold this guy up, and now we're going to drag him in here. And on European Extreme, when you're knocking guards out non-lethally, you can knock them out and there'll be stars over their head, but they'll wake up very fast from that. So ideally, you want to tranquilize them, but even if they're tranquilized, they're going to wake up super fast. On lower difficulties, they would have okay, I'm waiting for the Z. You see the Z floating over his head there? He only has one, but on lower difficulties they would have multiple because they would be asleep for longer. But here they don't sleep for long. You gotta be very fast. So anyways, here I'm just gonna jump on that guy, and like the sound of like jumping down on that guy and knocking them out will draw this guard's attention, which is nice. We can just knock this guy out too, and boom, very nice. So anyways, from this high vantage point here, we're gonna take out another guard, which is down there, and we're gonna slowly clear out this room. Well, not too slowly, you gotta be kind of fast here. And oh, I'm missing my shots. And okay, a great thing about shooting guards but not like knocking them out immediately is that if you like land a tranquilizer like shot into like their body, they'll be stunned for a moment, which means you can kind of line up your next shot more easily. So even if you miss the head, you'll have like a brief chance to kind of get back at them, or just keep shooting them in the body until they get knocked out. So there we go, boom, bam. And now we clear up the guard, which is kind of up there, and then just start climbing up here. And like there is another guard which is like alive, you know, well, awake, but you don't have to deal with him if you're like quick about this. Just kind of knock the guard up there, and like the guard below there, he'll be patrolling, but it won't really matter. And now we're just gonna slowly make our way to a little bit of first-person foolery. So like I was saying, so I do like the Metal Gear Solid games, but like Metal Gear Solid 2, I have replayed this game like 6 or 7 times, which doesn't exactly make me an expert, but I am familiar with this game. So for this no damage, I didn't need to like replay the whole game before attempting to no damage it. I just went straight into no damaging it. And oh yeah, another thing. So I decided that I would play this without the radar, because if you wanted to do like a big boss run, you would have to turn the radar off. So I decided to kind of go through that, but now it's like, damn, I don't have the radar anymore. Like, what am I gonna do? And well, I did not do this alone. I actually was following tips from a certain video, and that certain video is mostly from James Howell's, like pretty much Metal Gear Solid 2 Big Boss Run commentary video, and like that video is absolutely insane. Like, not only is the man beastly at Metal Gear Solid 2, he also has like a thesis on like the entire game's like meta narrative, like the sense of postmodernism, like, you know, postmodernism, like what it means, like when it can be used applicably, like I don't know, voyeurism in the Metal Gear Solid series. Like, he goes over so many different like analytical points in such like a precise manner, despite just being a commentary track on his like Metal Gear Solid 2 gameplay. Like, oh my goodness. And also he's always describing his strategy in such like a delicate manner. It's just like, man, that is an amazing video. Like, I don't think I'm gonna match it at all, and I'm not going to try to, though. I'll probably like maybe repeat some of the points he brought up, because some of the points he brought up are absolutely fascinating. So anyways, what I did in the previous room was I like a guard will like kind of spawn in and just kind of take cover, take him out, and then after that, you know, take out the bombs. Like, there's like green little panels you have to like shoot them out, and there's 3 of them, and just kind of take that out. And then in this room there's going to be 2 guards. When you're running up the hallway, there's going to be 1 coming down, and then the second guy kind of take cover to avoid his line of sight, and then run up to him, hold him up, boom, take him out. There's going to be another guard sleeping over here. Now he took him from like all the way across. He put him to sleep from all the way across the map, but I decided to get a little bit of a closer advantage, just kind of, you know, to make sure. And also I don't have much ammo here. Like, I mean, I'm really running out. Like, that's another thing. So this game introduces the tranquilizer gun, which kind of becomes a staple of the other Metal Gear Solid games, and it's kind of broken, but also it's a very necessary weapon. However, relying on it too much means, boom, you run out of ammo. Though, to be fair, that isn't too big of an issue when, like, you can kind of pick up ammo every now and then, though you can get into some dicey situations every now and then, especially on European Extreme when you have a lower ammo count. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Like, I mean, there'll be more instances of me struggling with ammo later on. So anyways, here, this is going to be like the second worst part of the game, and it's pretty much the thing which like convinced me that I absolutely do not want to do a big boss run of this game. This section, oh my, I hate it so much. Okay, I did no damage it. However, I gave up on non-lethaling everyone, because 1, I don't think non-lethal ammo actually spawns here. Now, to be fair, I think the non-lethal ammo I have should be enough to take everyone out if you're getting perfect headshots and landing every single shot. I am not doing that, though. I do not have the patience or the skill to do that. So at some point, so pretty much my strategy here is I actually use the third-person camera. Like, I don't know, one thing which like a lot of videos tell you to do is just to always be in first-person mode and just like kind of like pop out using this game's leaning system. But me, like, the way I time it is that I keep like a third-person camera, and like when the enemies like start shooting, like in the middle like of them shooting, or like near the end of like them shooting, I pop up with like my first person like aiming, and then I take like a shot, and then I go back into cover while I still keep the third-person camera, just like be aware of my enemies and all that. So there's gonna come a certain point where like enemies will start throwing grenades, and like pretty much just kind of stand up, move back, and just kind of let the grenade play out. They're always gonna throw 2 grenades, like one where you're like taking cover, at, and another where like, you know, you ran over to. So there's the first grenade, and there's going to be another grenade like landing behind me. And usually when people are throwing these grenades, it's kind of a good advantage to kind of take a few pot shots here and there, though sometimes it's not advisable because it can be a little dangerous. So yeah, like, I don't know, my strategy works until an enemy starts bum rushing me, and like if you get good at it, you can maybe take out that enemy non-lethally, like, you know, get a headshot while he's like approaching you. But like, I don't know, that's sensitive aiming, like, oh my goodness, I can't stand it. So instead I just pull out like my pistol and just go to town, just pop, 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 boom, and that ends this room. This was a horrible ass room. That's like one of the hardest parts of the entire game for me. Like, I cannot stand it. Like, it kind of ruins this whole tanker section for me. Like, this tanker section, awesome like section. Like, I don't know, there's just so much to talk about, and also just so much to talk about it in the context of like the entire game, like kind of how this is the demo, this is what people thought they were gonna get, but then like once you enter the plant chapter, like all your expectations are flipped onto you, like, oh my goodness. And also just the design of the tankers is super swag, because I don't know, you go from the top and then you go from the bottom, you kind of like, there's like a small bit of backtracking, but the way you backtrack like reuses the rooms in a really smart manner. Like, now you have to approach these really tight spaces in like, you know, a different manner, because the enemy placements are like kind of different, like compared to your position. Like, just really smart design all around, and some of that design is also in like the plant chapter. Like, this one is just like, it's so tight, it's so nice. And also this section right here is also really awesome. It is like simple once you know what to do, but like it's such a nice cinematic sequence. Like, I mean, the huge crowds, I mean, like the nice voice going over here, like, oh my goodness. So anyways, here, just kind of duck under the light, just kind of unequip your weapon for that, like, you know, little clicking noise. You're gonna be hearing a lot more of that clicking noise throughout my video here, though hopefully not too much, but there will be a couple more situations we'll have to do that. So anyways, here, knock that guy out, and then roll over these crates so that you don't make any noise. And you have to press it at like a good time, because I don't know, if you mess it up, you might actually land on the crates, and that'll make noise, and you don't want that. So anyways, here, same thing, duck under the light, and unequip your weapon, and just kind of go from there. And this guard, you don't have to worry about him. However, there's going to be something extra here. Once that light turns on, switch it over. Just switch it over, boom, bam. And now there's going to be another guard you're going to want to knock out. They'll be hanging out around here, so just take out the pistol, and we're going to take him out there. And now, what was I talking about before? The tanker's design. So, I don't know, just everything about the tanker is so great. I mean, the rain effects when you start off, like, it's just like the entire interior, like this game's art design. Now, I will say this game's environments have a tendency to not be as interesting as the first game's like levels and all that, because the first game had like so much more variety with like the cold, the hot, whatever. But this game's art design is still super slick, and for a 2001 PS2 game, oh my goodness, it has held up so well. Though I will say, as soon as we enter this room, knock that guy out, and then we're gonna go for a little bit of a rush here. We're gonna go to the left side, all the way to the left. Also, I'm on a replay. I'm on the exact replay where all the enemies are in their underwear. Now, this game can do some funny things on replays. Like, I don't know, on certain replays, like Solid Snake and Raiden will be wearing like funny sunglasses, though sadly I am not on that replay. And on some replays, all the guards will be in their underwear. So, you know, just kind of, if you return to the game, it's kind of a fun way to fool around with the player. So, you know, nice. So there, I got my left shot, then I got my front shot, then I got my right shot, and then we're gonna run all the way over here to get my marine shot. And also, you're gonna want to do this very fast, because the enemies could wake up, and if they wake up and see you while you're doing all this, boom, it's over. So yeah, knock those 2 guys out, but be very fast, so you can get to the computer before those guys wake up. It's very important. But yeah, the tanker, like the rain outside, like just the art designs, oh my goodness, like, yeah.
So, any codec moments from you, Snake? The first one...
We, the Marines, will lead the charge.
So yeah, that's just me skipping cutscenes, you know, like very nice, very nice. There are a lot of cutscenes in this game, and sometimes there'll be like a minute-long sections where it's just me skipping cutscenes. Though at the very least, we're not dealing with Splinter Cell Conviction's forced cutscenes, so there's never really going to be a point where I'm not in gameplay in this unless I'm skipping cutscenes. So it's just that's a really nice little detail. Though some cutscenes during combat can be forced, like the Olga scenes, like sometimes like her cutscenes can be forced. So when it's here, like this game's going to recommend me to save, but I'm going to do no because I'm actually going to save at a later point, though maybe you won't notice. So when it's here, we have reached the plant chapter with Raiden. So like the plant chapter has some really like nice design to it, though it is a little bit of a departure from the tanker. Because on the tanker's like this nice big like contained area, because you have like the middle, you have the top, and it's like a super natural like kind of vibe to it. While here you have like more of a diagonal, just hexagon design as you're going through each like stealth challenge room here and there. And that's the thing with this game, like I don't know, its stealth challenges are like room based, and that's because like I don't know, it's based in like old like NES style, like MSX. Well, I mean, I say NES because like I feel that's like more familiar to people than the MSX, because the MSX was like a Japan-only console, and well, that's where the first two Metal Gear games were released. And like the Metal Gear Solid games are actually like a continuation of those games. Like Metal Gear Solid 1 is the third game in the Metal Gear franchise, though to anyone who's a fan of this franchise, I'm sure that was common knowledge, but I just wanted to bring it up because like the design of these games is kind of based all the way back then. And like I mean, the series does change as it goes along, but like all the way up to like Metal Gear Solid 2 here, like I mean that kind of design is still a bit inherent to how the stealth works in this game. So as here we're going to enter this room, there's going to be 3 enemies. And like if you're playing this for the first time, you might just follow your objectives normally and just like, okay, I'm gonna go to the node. But no, if you want to like go through this room without any hassle, we can carry these 3 enemies to the lockers. So they will not wake up until you hit that node. So before you hit the node, we can just slowly take these guys all the way to the lockers and go from there. So yeah, I mentioned that I replayed these games a whole bunch, but most of my replays of 2 were on the PS Vita. Like, I don't know, the way I've gotten to this series is a bit of a strange ride. Like, I don't know, pretty much I owned an Xbox, and the Metal Gear Solid collection had Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and Peace Walker on it, and I got it one day because I was deciding between getting a bunch of games. Like, I don't know, I just went into like a Best Buy, got like 10 games. I wasn't going to buy 10 games, I was only going to buy 1, but one by one I would narrow it down to 1. And then I was between Borderlands 2 and Metal Gear Solid, the HD collection. And I went up to some random guy like, hey, yo, which game should I pick? And like the dude was like, yo, Metal Gear Solid, bro, it's awesome, pick that one. So I did. And then I got back home, like I got into like an Xbox Live party, and then I started playing 2, and I was utterly baffled on how to play it. I had zero idea how it worked. I didn't know how the radar worked. I didn't know like what if I was hidden or not. Like I was just running into issues. Like at one point I was like crawling to like hide from enemies, but that didn't work out at all. So I was just utterly confused and baffled. And also just starting off with 2, like, hey, where's 1? So it's like, oh my goodness. So then I moved on to 3, and I was still confused. I had no idea how to hide from enemies. I didn't know how the camo system worked. Like I was just absolutely stuck and like bewildered on the first area of the game, like the first section of the game, like the prologue. So it was like I had zero idea what I was doing. But then I slowly learned from help from, I don't know, friends in my Xbox Live party, just from experimenting with the game, and I came to really enjoy Snake Eater. Then I went back to 2, and I slowly learned how to play it, came to know its intricacies, exactly how it worked and all that, and boom, I beat it. And then I played Peace Walker, and I was kind of like, yeah, that's okay. And then I borrowed my friend's PS3, and I got to play more Metal Gear. So yeah, I went back to Metal Gear Solid 1, downloaded that, went through that, like, alright, cool. Then I got to play Metal Gear Solid 4, cool. And I did play Metal Gear Solid 5 at some point, but I forget exactly if I did it, like, before, like, I played 4 and 1, or after, I don't know. Don't exactly remember. I think it was after. Like, I mean, after that whole disaster or whatever. So yeah, I played it on PC, and like what convinced me to get Metal Gear Solid 5 was one of the trailers. Like I mean, it was like, yo, I gotta play this game because that trailer's so hype. And then I played the game, and a lot of conflicted feelings happened, and I'm not gonna get into it. I'd rather get into it on another video. So, and hey, my first review was Metal Gear Solid 5, so yeah, my conflicted feelings are portrayed in that video, though not as in depth as I would have liked. And oh, this is one of the big key moments of Metal Gear Solid 2. So you can put in like, your real name, your code name, or whatever, a lot of details about yourself. And this is the name that will appear on the dog tag, which like Raiden carries around. So it's kind of like a symbolic symbol of like you controlling Jack here. And yeah, his real name, like Raiden's real name is Jack, and he's kind of like our Jack into the game world. Now that does sound like it's reaching, but it's not reaching at all. It is like what the game's about. Like I don't know, because Raiden, he's like so conflicted between like trying to be like Solid Snake, and he's also being controlled by us. So he really lacks a lot of freedom. And that's kind of like the meta aspects which the story is trying to get into. Just like, you know, he's controlled by like the memes of Solid Snake, and that's another thing. So like this game was like retroactively like, you know, about memes. Like I don't know. Like the thing, like Kojima did this thing where like around Snake Eater, where he assigned like one-word themes to each of his games. Like I don't know, Metal Gear Solid 1's about jeans, this one's about memes. You know, Metal Gear Solid 3's about scene, and these one-word descriptions honestly don't do a good job of encapsulating like everything those games are about. Like. And the thing is, like, they never, like, say the word memes, like, literally in this game, though they do heavily go into it in Metal Gear, like, Rising Revengeance. They say memes quite a bit in that one. But that one's also trying to be a little more silly, so, you know, like, whatever. But it's also, like, weirdly serious at points. I don't know. I mean, I'll talk more about that game if I do no damage to that game. And that game is a little bit more, like, my style because it's, like, a hack and slash. Well, my style? Well, to be fair, it's only my style because I mostly did Yakuza, but I do really love these stealth games. But, yeah, whatever. So anyways, once we enter here, no enemies. However, I am going to make the mistake of crouching here because I thought there was a hole there, but no, it's actually where the birds are. Though I was kind of scared to crouch where the birds are because the thing is, you can actually slip on bird poop if you run too fast. And I was worried that if I slipped on the bird poop, I would take damage. So I was like kind of like, oh, I don't want to be where the birds are because I might accidentally slip there, you know? I don't want to deal with it. However, thankfully, I never ran into an issue with the bird poop. Like, I mean, in this area, like, it rarely showed up. And now here is going to be, like, a tutorial area where it's like, hey, create a distraction to, like, you know, move the enemy away from where you want to go. Though, technically, you don't really need to distract the enemy. You could just wait for their patterns to kind of align to where you want them to be. Now, here, this is where a bit of routing happens, because I don't know, this game, like the way you can kind of approach it is a little non-linear, though it is still linear because you're going down one path. It's pretty much like you can either go to the left or to the right, and like for certain sections you go to the center. So when it's here, like I kind of screwed up. Like I don't know, I was really nervous of how to approach this, so I kind of waited until the enemy was exactly where I thought he'd be, though I should have done that from the very beginning because the enemy was exactly where I wanted him to be from the very beginning. But I was nervous, so I kind of screwed it up. So yeah, the design here, you can either go right or left, but throughout your whole journey, you'll be making a couple loops. And the game, like, very smartly, like, reuses, like, these levels in a way that doesn't feel tedious. So anyways, in this part of the level, just run all the way to the end and, like, do it at the very beginning and you won't get caught. But if you, like, hesitate, boom, you will get caught. So anyways, here, I'm going to go to the room on the right because the room on the right has the tranquilizer gun. You actually have to retrieve the gun here. You don't have it in your inventory like you do in the tanker section. So boom, get the gun, and now we're going to make a swift exit out of this area. So what was I talking about again? I will say I actually did not outline any points for this video just because I thought that I knew this game well enough that I'd be able to talk, though sometimes my head does go a little blank. However, I just remembered something, and that is me picking up this game for the first time in like months, years, and the controls took a little while to get used to, because I don't know, the thing with this game's controls is that they are fantastic if you know what you're doing, but if you don't, then it can be pretty awkward and hard to get into. And I guess that's like part of the reason why I was struggling with this game when I first picked it up, like way back in like what, 2012, 2013. Oh my goodness, like it's been so long. But I, like, after countless replays and after doing all the VR missions, oh yeah, that's another thing. So I actually have platinumed this game on the Vita, which was honestly a big mistake of mine, but I was just so committed to going through with it because it was like the version I played the most. So it's like, you know, whatever, let's do it. But man, those VR missions just, and also this game in general just has like a few sections which you really need a little bit more precise control, which like the controller would bring you, and like that's a little bit weird because the controller isn't that precise, but it's more precise than the Vita's control stick. When the Vita's control stick is nice for like a handheld, but it doesn't match the precision you need for this game sometimes. Like, oh my goodness. And also on the Vita, this game's leaning feature is just nerfed. Oh yeah, this game's leaning feature, that's like another weird little thing about this control setup. So I don't know, like you have to press so many buttons to do things which are like in most modern games is a lot simpler. Like Yeah, there's a first person mode, so you know you hold down first person, and then to like ready your gun, you hold down the square button, and then like you can kind of move around in first person, aim your gun. But then you can kind of lean by using like the triggers. So you know, left trigger you can kind of lean to the right, right trigger you can kind of lean to the no, left trigger you can lean to the left, right trigger you can lean to the right, and then by pressing both of them at the same time, you can lean like overhead. So if you're like hiding in cover, you can go into first person and lean over to get kind of a surrounding of your area, and then boom, you can kind of take shots like that. And that is a useful skill to have, especially when you're kind of ducking in and out of cover sometimes. And it was useful in that one shootout sequence in the tanker section. So anyways, my strategy for these past rooms, like on the bridge there, you kind of just take out the two enemies with the tranquilizer gun, just kind of go out quickly, aim at their heads, boom, bam, pow. And also in that one part, like the connecting bridge from like F to A, I wait a little bit before so I can get a shot on the enemy. Though I think I kind of screwed up because like James Howell's video, he went through that a lot faster, but I guess I forgot what he did and I just kind of winged it. I waited for the enemy to show up and then I take him out, and then I run through the bridge, just very careful that like that, you know, hovering little UAV thing, I think that's what it's called, like the hovering robot does not catch sight of me. Anyways, here this room is completely safe. Well, that's another thing. So I don't know, something you would have to do normally if you're playing with a radar is activating nodes in the plant chapter. So you would actually not have a radar on you if you don't activate these nodes. So you do actually have to do that. And sometimes the game's levels will be designed in such a way where if you take a specific path, you will be completely blind to everything in the game until you get to that node. Like, I don't know, struts F and I think E kind of like suffer from this, where it's just like if you go the wrong way, it's like, oh my goodness, you enter a whole just room of complications on your first run. And strut D can also suffer from that. Like, oh my goodness, like entering the wrong way on strut D is just like, oh man. And strut F is always going to be complicated no matter where you enter from, so it's just kind of weird. But this part here, it's kind of a nice little empty space, no enemies, because we're about to enter like our next big kind of gameplay section, and it's bomb disposal, and that's going to be a whole can of worms. Though, like, I mean, there is a lot to talk about with bomb disposal, like the way it goes around and all that. But yeah, I don't know, me picking up this game for the first time in like years, months, like the controls took a little while to get used to, but once I got used to them, boom, I was back in the flow. I was just swinging from like environments, you know, fast. And this game is so fast. Like, I don't know, like the way I would describe this game stealth, it's kind of like arcadey stealth. Like, it's not like as in-depth as other games per se. I mean, that's kind of like a bit very vague, kind of like simple way to describe it, like not as in-depth. There's a certain like word for this, because I don't know, like in something like Splinter Cell, you have like that third person camera, so you can kind of see around corners, you can control where you see, and also like the levels kind of like require to be a little bit more slow, a little bit like think about things more, though those games can be linear. Like the first two are definitely linear, though this game is a lot linear than those, but not necessarily, because you can kind of choose like where to go in like the whole tanker section. The thing is, like, those games are designed differently. Like the Splinter Cell games are like mission based. This game is just like a one route like trip throughout the entire thing. Like this whole game is the mission. Oh yeah, so anyways, here once I step out, there's gonna be guard all the way over there, but I knock on there and then I run back here to kind of draw his attention out so I can take him out there, and then boom, the threat in the area has been eliminated and we can go and take out this bomb. So your radar will be gone. However, you'll have a new sensor, which will kind of have this new radar, which just kind of shows green smoke where there is a bomb. So, like, I mean, I already know where all the bombs are, but on your first run through, like, that green smoke is kind of your indicator to find the bomb. And, like, I mean, the puzzles here can be a little tricky, because I know sometimes, like, there'll be smoke all over an area. Like, there'll be smoke all over an area, and you'll have to figure out, why is there so much smoke everywhere? Because, you know, it's not like the bomb is everywhere, so it's just like, oh my goodness. So it's a really nice, like, cool way. So what the bomb disposal does is that it kind of recontextualizes, like, these stealth rooms a bit, because, like, not only do you have to sneak past these enemies, you also have to, like, sneak past them and take out the bomb. So, like, it's not just about getting past the enemies, but, like, I don't know, going to, like, taking out the bomb without being seen. And sometimes, like, I don't know, that requires new solutions. And another thing which, like, recontextualizes, like, the stealth challenges is the dog tags. Now, on European Extreme, all the dog tags are removed, which, I mean, is kind of sad, because the dog tags in this game is kind of one of my favorite aspects of it, even though it is, like, a completely optional and kind of meaningless thing to, like, kind of get into. But, like, it offers, like, a new stealth challenge, because now, I mean, on European Extreme, since there are no dog tags, I'm just going to knock out every single enemy. But when the dog tags get introduced, it's now like, how do you get the dog tags from every single enemy in this room? And like there, like, I mean, these individual stealth challenges become a lot more complex, because now you're just wondering, how do the enemy routes work? Like, when is an enemy open to being held up and, like, you know, you know, interrogated for that dog tag. And you know, when these rooms get more complicated, and like strut F is probably like the most complicated when it comes to this, because like it's such a tight space. That's another thing. These spaces are like really tight and small, which can make the game a little more linear than it like needs to be. But it also like makes the stealth actually like kind of challenging, you know, for your first time run through, because you actually have to figure things out. So anyways, here we're gonna take out these cameras, and the great thing about this game is that I don't know, the cameras you take out here will not be reactivated, because like you'll be revisiting this area, but like on a time limit. So if you take out those cameras, you get rid of a lot of the hassle. So it's very, very nice. So that's a cool thing about this game. Like, the way you infect the environment, like, actually matters. So sometimes the game can be a little inconsistent about that. So once we enter here, kind of stick behind this wall here, and then boom, just kind of take out the guards here as they come along. Boom, bam. Very nice. And that pretty much takes that out. But yeah. So yeah, bomb disposal. I mean, you start this game off, and like the game kind of like tells you to go to like struts A, B, and C. Though I do take a detour to F. And I'm not sure about this, but maybe you can also take a detour to E and D. I feel the game is actually like that open, but I did not do that because what's the point? You'll be like super unequipped to like deal with that stuff. But to be fair, if you have the tranquilizer, you're pretty much good to go. But like, what's the point of that? You'll pretty much just be wasting time in those rooms. So just go to strut F to get the tranquilizer, and then you can kind of go on the intended path the game wants you to take. So anyways, so strut A, once you enter this part, just kind of take out that guard. Now, ideally, I should have taken him out from there, but I guess I was kind of confused. I didn't know what to do. But anyways, the guard goes there anyway, so just take him out there. And now we're going to go into this crawling section here. And yeah, here comes the clicking again. And I act a little too fast, because like, I'm going to go down this pipe. But no, you're not supposed to go down that pipe. You're supposed to go down the pipe right next to this pipe. So it's like, oh man, come on. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I just on the Vita versions and also on the PS3 version, like I actually collected like most of the dog tags, like enough dog tags in order to get the stealth camo and like special wig. However, the PS3 version of this game and the Vita versions of this game have crossplay. But if you use a crossplay save, all trophies are disabled. So on PS3, I actually went through all the hassle to get all those dog tags on different difficulties, and then the game had the balls to go, yeah, you don't get any trophies for that though. So it's like my sense of accomplishment is kind of like ruined a little bit. So I guess I just went back and did it on Vita. So it's like, bruh, like, come on, why you gotta do me like that? Like, man, like, why you gotta do me like that? Like, that was so sad. That was so sad. So entering this room, there'll be an enemy to the bottom, but I guess the route I take here is just kind of go to the top there, go down here, and I don't really know where the enemy is, but I'm assuming he's around here, so I'm just kind of using the walls to get a bit of a sense of my area, and then boom, we're going to take him out right there and now. And the bomb we're looking for should be around here, I believe so. I mean, I did find it on the first person coolant, and then boom, that's done. So this game. So I was going to mention something, but I forgot what I was going to mention. Oh my god. I can't believe this keeps happening to me. Like, I was going to mention something about the PC port. No. I did not do this game's PC port because, well, frankly, I already owned it on PS3, and like the hassle to get the PC version working, I didn't need to do it because I have the PS3 HD collection. Like, that's good enough. Though the one sad thing about the PS3 HD collection is that they removed the skateboarding from like this game had a subtitle, which like they added VR missions and they added a skateboarding thing like in a new version of the game. It was called I can't take it anymore. I'm going mental, losing my mind here. Anyways, here we're gonna take out this thing floating overhead, and then just once we take this thing out, the guard which we're gonna take out should also be around. Except we're not gonna kill him. We're instead gonna use the gun here. And he's going to show up any minute now. Just kind of let him show up. And here we go. Oh, I remembered what I wanted to mention. So what I wanted to mention was that how doing the Splinter Cell no damage videos actually made doing this easier. Though some things are a little harder in this game than in Splinter Cell, but for the most part, I think it's actually easier because, like, I don't know, in Splinter Cell, you have to memorize like entire level layouts and all this. While here, you don't really need to memorize too much because, like, the challenges are contained to like single rooms, while in Splinter Cell it's like an entire level. I mean, those levels could be contained to rooms as well in a sense until you reach like Chaos Theory and also certain sections of like maybe of the first two games. But like those games still have a little bit more going on, and like how to approach how to like go through the levels in terms of memorization than this game. Because on this game, it's about memorizing certain rooms, and you know, once you got those rooms down, you got those rooms down. You're like, nice. Now, the way I did like my saves was like for every like I don't know 4 to like 12 minutes of gameplay, I would kind of go through that and then save, or like you know go through like a certain chunk of the game before we reach something challenging. Now, the way you would manage your saves on a big boss run is leagues more challenging, but I did not do that. So instead, I used a lot more saves. Now, the way I split it up was like 26 parts, and for those parts, I could not tell you because I can't really memorize that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I split this game up into 26 parts, and that's pretty much how I did my no damage. So yeah, I don't know, nearly 3 hours divided by 26 equals, I don't have a calculator with me right now, so I can't really get into that. But yeah, like the memorization patterns I had to like learn for like Splinter Cell, where I would look at someone's like video walkthrough of it, like the way they did it, and then memorize what they did, and also have enough time to like kind of react to enemies on the fly. Just kind of like, you know, I mean, the way I did Splinter Cell was I would play the entire game first, and then I would revisit the game by watching someone's like walkthrough and then go through that. Anyways, this room is strut F, and this one is really complicated in a sense that, like, the way I approach it is I immediately go out, I take out one of the guys with like the tranquilizer, and then I take out the other guy with the tranquilizer. No, not even. I take one guy with the tranquilizer, then I look for the other enemy when he looks away. I run up to him, I hold him up, I take him out. Boom. And then once I'm done with what wait, hold up. Am I 100% right on that? Let me check that. I'm wrong on that. So I'm like talking about what I would do on like a different part of this level. Like if I'm going from this level from the other side, what I was talking about is correct. However, that is not what we're doing here. We're going at it from the side where, like, I mean, I pretty much peek out, I take the enemy out, and then once I take that enemy out, I take out the other enemy, who you should take him out really quickly because you have a little bit of a small chance to like catch him and tranquilize. And then once you do that, you tranquilize the two guards like on the bottom, and then once you reach the bottom, things can get complicated because now, I mean, the way I did it was I carried both of the bodies into the room because I don't know, like the way James Howell did it, he carried one of the bodies into the room and then he timed it so that when he stepped out, he could like knock out the other guy. But however, I just carried both of them into the room, and that was like a little more complicated. In fact, one of the enemies got suspicious and I'm pretty sure they went down. However, thankfully, I was able to carry the body into the room before that guard was in the line of sight to like kill me or like be suspicious and all that. So anyways, and then from there, I take those two guards who are like on the bottom and I put them into lockers. Now, putting enemies into lockers not only hides them from the other enemies, but it also makes it that they never wake up. So, like, I mean, you know, enemies can wake up because the tranquilizer stuff, like, it doesn't tranquilize them forever and they wake up pretty fast. However, if you put them into a locker, they will always be asleep in that locker. So it just removes one obstacle in the area. It's a very nice, convenient way to go about things. So, I don't know, I wait for this guy to show up, then I knock him out, and then I'm going to run over there and pretty much just move on with my day. And, oh, yeah. And also, you have to take out a bomb in this area. And, like, the best way to go about it is to kind of hang from where I was hanging, drop down, and then just kind of take out the bomb from there. But yeah, I don't know, like, I pretty much watching walkthroughs of like Splinter Cell, I had to memorize like levels in such a way where it's just like, it's a lot to memorize. But for Metal Gear, like, I mean, there is still some memorization involved, and you know, the way you deal with certain guards. And the one thing which makes Metal Gear harder is this camera, because I don't feel this game is really designed to be played without the radar. Like, I mean, like, I don't know, in the very first Metal Gear Solid, something which kind of baffled me is that like your radar is absolutely turned off on hard and like extreme, and I was like, that completely dissuaded me from playing that game on like hard or extreme. Because like I did not want to suffer through like a non-radar Metal Gear Solid game. I want my radar. At least like when I was playing them back then, I really did want my radar. And I still stand by like radar is like the best way to play this game. But like for challenge runs, turning off the radar isn't too bad. However, another thing which trained me for doing Metal Gear Solid 2 isn't just my Splinter Cell videos, but also just my past experience. I mean, I've replayed this game multiple times, but also I've done all the VR missions in Metal Gear Solid 2, and those missions can become obscenely difficult. I mean, like, so like the later parts of that, like the harder sections of that, like whole section of game, like they'll turn off your radar. And now I had to look up videos on YouTube on how to like pass certain sections. Like I had to look up videos on YouTube on how to pass certain sections, and it was like, oh, it was just such a hassle. And also the VR missions in this game, like, okay, so like I swear the VR missions in like Metal Gear Solid 2 are longer than the actual game, because like it took me like 40 hours to complete all the missions. And to be fair, most of those missions are just copy and pasted content made slightly harder with certain characters. So I mean, yeah, they can just copy a bunch of stuff and like boom, you get more content. But it was like, oh my goodness, after a while it just got tiresome. think it was just such like a brutal, difficult thing like by the end of it, and I just did not like. And to be fair, like I mean the stealth parts of the VR missions are kind of fun, even if they do get a little brutal later on. But then there's like annoying things like, ooh, here's some VR missions on like pistol challenges and like shooting range. Like I can't stand that, and the sniper stuff. Oh, that got annoying so fast. So anyways, here we're gonna go into here. We're gonna knock that guy out there, and then once we knock that guy out there, we're gonna take out these 2 cameras here. And thankfully, on strut F, I actually picked up the silencer by going to that one like vent and just kind of venting all the way to get to the silencer. And then boom, get the silencer. And then once we connect that, it's gonna be super useful for taking out cameras without the enemies here being suspicious. And then once we knock this out, stick to like the bottom of that like room, and then make your way to this corner here. Kind of align yourself that you're kind of like, I don't know, you're like looking straight on at like that yellow thing, and now we're gonna wait. So the bomb is on one of these boxes in the conveyor belt, but this is a safe area to wait for it. However, the enemy's gonna wake up before the bomb gets here, so I'm actually gonna be like on the ready to take out the enemy like again. And once I take out the enemy, then I'll just be waiting for the bomb nonchalantly. However, once I take out the bomb, then the enemy's gonna wake up again, and then I'll take him out again. But for right now, yeah, there he woke up, so now I'm just gonna take him out. And once I take him out, I'll pretty much just be waiting for the bomb again. Just like no real like hassle. And now just pull out the coolant. There's no real risk, and just kind of go from there. Now, I tackled this room in a kind of complicated manner, but there were actually easier ways to go about it. And I say there's even easier ways for James Howell to like go about his stuff. And most of it revolves around the cardboard box. Now, like the cardboard box, I don't know if using a cardboard box disqualifies you from like doing a big boss run. If someone could answer that in the comments, please do. But yeah, the cardboard box is a staple of this series. From the very first game in the franchise, you were using cardboard boxes for very like useful, stealthy stuff, and it's still super useful in this game. And to be fair, I don't think I used the stealth box to like its biggest like advantage. And to be fair, that's because I was like rushing through this game in like kind of like a perfect, doing everything like, you know, perfect. You know, I know the routines, but if you're playing this on the first time, the box is super useful. Like, oh, this is one trick where like, I mean, in the very first Metal Gear Solid, if a guard saw you in the box and got suspicious enough to check it out, you were pretty much screwed. But in this game, you can actually get the jump on the enemy if they do that, because like there'll be a part where I don't know, like when they're checking your box and they're like about, when they like lift your box, you can like unequip your box, and the enemy will still be stuck in that like lifting box animation, and then you can just like hold them up and boom, they're none the wiser, and you can just get the jump on the enemy like that. Like, it's been super useful for me when I was like in dicey situations on my first couple playthroughs. So anyways, once I take out the guy who I took out before, then I go to the bottom of the room, and then I take out the 2 guards kind of in front, but then there's still another guard who like kind of climbs the stairs, which we're gonna go to. We're gonna wait for that guy to pretty much exit out of the stairs, and kind of in a way we can kind of move past him to climb up the stairs. Then once we're up the stairs, we're on this little heliport here. And now there's going to be a guard on the right side. So, oh, there's 2 guards here. There's this guard here on the right side. Boom, take him out. There's going to be a guard on the left side. We're just going to move up here all the way across there. And then, boom, take that guard out there. Boom, it's over. And now we're going to move on to take the bomb under this plane. But yeah, like, I mean, these camera angles, like, they're super cool in like a cinematic sense. Like, I don't know, just looking at this game, just gameplay, like, it has a super nice, cool vibe, and it's like, it's reminiscent of those old 8-bit, like 16-bit games. I don't know how many bits the MSX was, but like those old school, like, you know, 8-bit, 16-bit games, you know, like they had the top-down angles, because, you know, I mean, that's just a cool way to show off most of the environment without really needing like a 3D camera per se. And it kind of persists throughout like these more modern games, the PS2. Like, I mean, it kind of has those same design sensibilities, but now there's a few modernizations. Like, number 1, it's 3D, and number 2, you can actually go into first person and aim in first person, which would like be absolutely impossible in like those older games. And to be fair, Metal Gear Solid 1 does have a first person mode, but you can't really aim in it, though. To be fair, I've heard rumors that like the integral version of the game added a first person mode which you can kind of play in, which is pretty cool. And like the integral version is the PC well, I think is also the PC version. So if I do a video on Metal Gear Solid 1, I'm going to try to get the PC version just because I can actually run it at like 1080p, and that'll be a nice recording. And to be fair, since it's such an old game, I'm assuming it's not that demanding, so maybe we could go for 4K. But that would also require a little bit of rebinding, and also I would prefer to play with a controller. Not really a fan of the mouse and keyboard setup, though maybe it won't be too bad. I don't know, I could get used to it. So anyways, here I take out that guard, and ideally I was supposed to take out the guard across the room, but every time I did it, the other guards would get suspicious and call in a caution state. And when this game enters the caution state, oh my goodness, the caution state. Like, more guards come in, and that's just unpredictable. Like, I did not plan to deal with caution states. So, like, you want to avoid that at all costs. But thankfully, I found the solution accidentally. If a guard, like, the guard will notice me, and then they'll start walking towards me. But I can just kind of climb up the stairs, wait for him to be in that room, and then boom, I can just take him out. Now here, I'm gonna do something which is a little unnecessary. Oh yeah, by the way, while I was doing all that, I also took out one of the cameras patrolling this area. Like, there's like 3 cameras in this room, the 2 at the bottom, and then like the one kind of on the left top of this area. But yeah, so you can actually walk past this guard with the box, because you'll be crouching, so you'll pretty much be like hiding underneath this conveyor belt, so the guard won't see you even if you walk past him, if you're using the box and sticking close to the walls. But I decided to wait him out just for no reason, so that was a little weird of me. But yeah, oh my goodness. So yeah, the box, so like future games like Metal Gear Solid 4 would implement like an official crouch walk, but in earlier titles, well, maybe not Metal Gear Solid 1 so much, but yes, Metal Gear Solid 1, but I don't remember any time a crouch walk would have been necessary in Metal Gear Solid 1, but in Metal Gear Solid 2, sometimes 3, like a crouch walk is like kind of necessary, and the box kind of works as that like crouch walk. So it's like, you know, it's not official, but like it works as such, so you can kind of like walk very fast around like kind of chest high walls while still being hidden. So it's very nice, very nice. So anyways, here I kind of did a thing where like I wait for a guard to be in the position where he like notices me, just because it's easier to aim at him, because I have very limited ammo at this point. So I'm trying to get perfect headshots, and I just found it easier to do a headshot when he was in the position to notice me. So like whatever. So anyways, there I take out like, you know, that one guard there, then that one guard on top, and then I go down, like kind of do a sick flip to get into this lower level, and then I take out the guard all the way over there, and then once I do that, I have run out of ammo. But thankfully there is actually an ammo drop like right next to me coming up, so thankfully even though I run out of ammo at this point, I'll still have enough ammo to kind of deal with this room as it kind of becomes a little bit more complicated, because I don't do this room perfectly. I kind of screw up a bit, and like one of my screw ups is that I take way too long to freeze that one bomb, because I was just in really bad position, and like the coolant air wasn't really hitting it as much as I wanted to. And now here's my next screw up, though thankfully it kind of became a little bit of an advantage, is that I don't take out this enemy fast enough, and he notices me and gets curious. And that's another thing. So this game adds a, I don't know, so this game does a lot of things to just like add to the stealth of like the first game. And the thing is, like, some of these systems may be a little like awkward compared to like some more modern like stealth games or whatever, but like as a comparison to like the very first Metal Gear Solid, it's a lot of really great like and natural like improvements to your arsenal, which I just really appreciate and I just really loved as like a player of this game. Like, I mean, it's hard to get into, but once you're into it, like, I don't know, it's honestly really smooth and just like flows really nicely. Well, I mean, flows really nicely just because I'm really experienced with it, and like I have the muscle memory to kind of go through it. And oh yeah, so on the original PS2 game, and even on this like PS3 like port, there's pressure sensitive buttons. Now in Metal Gear Solid 2 this doesn't matter too much, but in Metal Gear Solid 3 it gets a little annoying. I guess I'll go more into it when I do a video on Metal Gear Solid 3. So yeah, like, I mean, the enemies noticed me, so like that one guy dropped down, so I knocked him out. But then when I knocked out that one guy, the other guard noticed, so he came back to like kind of wake him up. However, that also set him up perfectly for me to knock him out. Boom, bam, bada, bing, boom, bam. And then that pretty much we can just kind of leave this area, the bombs now, and now we're pretty much like almost done with like a full loop of like this entire first section of the game. But then this game's gonna have the balls to go, okay, do that all again, but now you're on a time limit. But thankfully you don't have to take out any bombs along your way, you just have to do an entire loop just to get to another area. And it's just like a really smart way to reuse the environment in cool, stressful ways, you know, recontextualizing like these little stealth challenge rooms in like different like ways, and it's just smart. It's smart, and I kind of appreciate it more than the backtracking in Metal Gear Solid 1, because the backtracking in Metal Gear Solid 1, like, I mean, it did offer new challenges, but it also could get tedious. It could get really tedious. And also there was that infamous like end section of the game where, like, to be fair, Metal Gear Solid always, like, their end sections are kind of weaker gameplay wise. Even in the good ones, like, I don't know, they just kind of mess it up somehow. Like, I mean, in Metal Gear Solid 1, like, there's that huge amount of backtracking. Maybe not too huge, I mean, especially compared to some other games. So anyways, once you get the bomb disposal thing here, now we're in a rush to get the strut A, and now we have to kind of consider how we're going to get through this area. So anyways, here, knock that drone out, and I think with the drone out, that's pretty much the only challenge in this area, so we can kind of move past there. But yeah, like, so like the end portion of this game, I guess I'll get more into it once we reach like the second half of this game, which I think it also suffers from it, because like the stealth gameplay of like this section, which, to be fair, I think the stealth gameplay is probably at its best during the bomb disposal stuff, because like it's super complicated in the sense that, you know, you have the bomb to deal with, and you also like going through these areas, and some of these areas are new, especially like the second half, like, I don't know, like struts D, E, F, like those are new, so it's like, oh my goodness. So like the stealth gameplay may actually be at its best at this point. There's gonna be like a upcoming section that's like a little bit more gimmicky and cool, though like it's not as engaging like this like first couple of levels. It's just like, oh my goodness, like it's just like super cool, just like going through everything. Like it's just like I mean, the tanker is kind of like a demo piece of this game, you know, like showing all its systems in perfect harmony. Like this section of the game is also kind of like that, but for the plant. And then it just kind of goes off the rails near the end and goes into the more action set piece stuff. And that's another thing. Like it's kind of like, you know, I forget if I mentioned this point, but it's also like kind of still very true to those old like 8-bit games. And those old 8-bit games aren't like full stealth. Sometimes you fought boss fights in like, you know, like old like retro style, like, you know, boom, there's a boss fight, you know, they throw projectiles and you gotta dodge them here and there, and they're still keeping true to that like format. However, with some of these more future games, they get a little bit more like tricky with like the boss fights. Sometimes there's like cool, clever like puzzle elements to them. Like, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 1 has a whole Psycho Mantis thing, and like this game sometimes just has ways to kind of cheat boss fights. Though, to be fair, I'm not sure if all these are intentional. Like, I mean, like chaff grenades are super useful in a certain fight, but then there's other fights where it's kind of like, bruh. Like, I mean, the Olga fight, for instance. I mean, on European Extreme, they remove some of the cool ways to deal with her, but you can shoot out her light so that she can't use it, or you can like shoot off the flag so it flies off in the wind. But on European Extreme, they kind of take those things on you, and like, you know, it makes the fight more challenging per se, but also it's kind of like, man, that's kind of like part of the boss fight's charm. Like, well, I mean, okay, it's more challenging, but it's also like less cool now. Though, I mean, there is still like clever ways to deal with like these obstacles. So it's like, all right, cool. But then there's also other ways where I like to deal with obstacles where it's like just kind of cheap, and I just because the game's kind of broken. And to be fair, I do it because like some of those later boss fights can be uber difficult. But to be fair, I'm referring to specifically one boss fight, and I'll get to him when I get to him.
Colonel, I've...
So coming up is Raiden's first boss fight, Fortune, which is an unwinnable fight, and it's pretty much just a survival mode where you pretty much have to survive for a certain amount of time until she kind of gets bored and leaves. And okay, so one interesting thing which like James Howell brought up in his video is that like it's kind of weird how in this Metal Gear Solid way we kind of return to our point of origin. Like on a Metal Gear Solid 1, you never do ride that elevator back down, but here we do. It's like, alright, cool. So to be fair, thinking about it, Metal Gear Solid 3 kind of revisits that idea in a cool way as well. And like, oh yeah, there is thematic purpose to that in Metal Gear Solid 3 as well. But yeah, in this game, it's kind of like, you know, Raiden's kind of going through the motions again. Though I'm not sure like why returning to the point of origin kind of shakes his world, but now it's like getting crazy. You know, like now it's like he's rethinking about his reality and all that. You know, he's dealing with like Fortune, he's dealing with the freaking vampires. Oh my goodness. I don't know, James Howell went into it with a more like classy, in-depth way because he actually like wrote an essay about the game, and I gotta contact him to read that essay or like find out where that essay is stored, because I mean the stuff he talks about in the video is like absolutely fascinating. And I absolutely recommend you watch his video on it, like his Big Boss rank like commentary video, just he gets into so many interesting topics, and he's just so well read into like this game, its themes, and postmodernism in general. And I like the one part like in his video he brings. To be fair, I don't want to make this entire commentary just like gushing about James Howell's video, but like I do recommend you watch his video. And it is kind of a lot to ask because it's like, bruh, like you want me to watch your 2-hour video, like 3-hour video, you want me to watch his 2-hour video too? Bro, what are you doing to me? Anyways, the fight for Fortune is really simple if you have a box. Just pretty much activate the box and just run left to right. So pretty much on European Extreme, I'm not sure if this changes on lower difficulties, but on European Extreme, she'll always shoot 2 lightning shots. So once she shoots two of those, turn left. Like if you're running right and she shoots 2 of those and you dodge those while in the box, then turn left, and then just kind of, if she shoots it again while running left, wait for the second shot to go by and then turn right. Keep doing that for the entire fight in the box, and also stick to like the bottom of the screen, just kind of like, you know, bottom right, bottom left. Now the reason I use the box is because, okay, so anyways, once we enter this area, there's going to be an enemy hiding here, and then there's going to be the same enemy just kind of doing, no, actually his patrol's a little different now. So see, he's there now. Whoa! But if you're quick on it, you can kind of get the drop on him like this. Bada bing, bada boom. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, the reason you want the box is because, like, if you're like Raiden's body, like, you don't move fast enough to dodge the lasers. And also, you can kind of get stuck in the barrels sometimes. Like, you might try to stick up to the barrels, or sometimes you might try to stick to, like, the wall, like, with your, like, you know, running back again. So like the box gets rid of that and you like run a little faster. So it's like, you know, very nice, very nice. So just keep doing that for the entire portion right now. And as here we have a time limit to get to Mr. Fatman here, and this is where we revisit like the second half of like this area, because I mean like we kind of revisit like structure C, structure B, and then A to kind of get to like the bomb we have to defuse. But now we're revisiting struts like F, like E and D to get to Fatman. Wait, actually we don't go to D yet. We just go to F. Then we go to E, because E is where Fatman's hanging out. So we're like revisiting all these structures, and we're like on a strict time limit. So you know, it's a cool way to add tension and also like reuse these assets for like this part of the game. And it's just like, oh my goodness, let's go. So anyways, I shoot the chaff grenade manually just to kind of speed things up, because you know we're on a time limit here, and we use the chaff grenade in order so that these things don't see us. And also if we run fast enough, the enemy on top, like the actual human being, won't be in position to see us. So you know, gotta be quick on your feet about this. And also you have a time limit, so you're already quick on your feet about this. So I was gonna say something, but I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyways, I don't have any ammo on my pistol, so I'm just gonna use the box to hide me from everyone. And we're gonna wait for this one enemy to kind of exit this area so we can kind of sneak past him. Boom. So yeah, you don't really need to knock out the enemies in this area as long as you have a box. You just get the box and just kind of go from there. But also the thing about the box is that, well, when you're like trying to defuse the bomb, then you kind of need to take out the enemies a little bit. And also you do need to take out the cameras. The cameras are a bit of a dicey issue in that strut. So if you want to take out the cameras, then you're going to have to take out the guards. So it's just it's complicated, but at least on the run throughs where you have to be really quick, you can be really quick. And now I'm going to waste a little bit of time trying to get tranquilizer ammo. So what happens with the tranquilizer ammo is that it spawns during the boss fight, but it does not spawn when you're not in the boss fight. So I'm going to go to the area where the tranquilizer ammo actually spawns, but since we're not in the boss fight yet, it's not going to spawn. So that's just a massive shame, though. To be fair, this boss fight I do something a little bit unique, so you'll see what I mean when I get there. So here is the Fatman fight, and we started off by pretty much turning off this bomb here. However, there's going to be another bomb we have to turn off, but instead of turning it off, we're not going to. And instead of being non-lethal, we're going to kill this man. So first shoot his leg, kind of run up to like avoid his bullets, then shoot his leg to like trip him, and then shoot him twice in the head. You have to be very fast about shooting him the first time, because if you're too slow, he'll only react after being shot once, and which means you only get like one shot to do. So you gotta be really fast. You need to boom, get that in, and then the other shot, boom, very nice, very sweet. Now what we're trying to do is that we knock him down the first time he runs away, and we pray that he comes back quickly enough that we knock him down, and like that he comes back quickly enough that he comes back a second time when we still have enough time to knock out this bomb here. It's like, well, like the second time he like rolls around this area, we're only gonna knock him down. We're not gonna go for the double hit, because at the very least when he's knocked down, it gives us enough time to kind of shoot him. And then like, you know, once we like disable the bomb and he's like knocked down and he gets up, it's gonna stand there for a little while taunting us. We can just shoot his leg and knock him down for 2 hits, and it makes the fight a lot easier. But this fight is still not easy, and that a bit of that is RNG. Because it's not a guarantee that he'll come back quickly. He might waste a little bit too much time, that you won't have enough time to disable the bomb if you wait for him 2 times. And then after that, it's kind of a crapshoot, because you have to run it around him. You don't have the radar to see him, and he runs too fast. And the worst part about it is that if he runs towards you, like if he bumps into you, he deals damage! And then you have to like manage your ammo, because I mean you're shooting him a lot to knock him down, which means your gun is going to run out of bullets at one point. So you got to run to the spot which has ammo, but he might plant some bombs while you're away. So it's like, oh my goodness. And then look at that, boom. I have to like do that, like, oh my god. And this game has something called a quick reload, where like you pretty much just like equip and unequip the gun in order to reload it, instead of like waiting to manually reload. It's a lot faster, and it's very gamey, it's very cool. And yeah, but that boss fight, insanely frustrating. I just went straight to murder, because I was just so done with this guy's nonsense. But here we go. It's done. It's over. Get out of here, man. So yeah, So I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of at a loss at what topics to say. I don't know. I mean, this game honestly, like, there's a lot going on in like the gameplay, so there's a lot to talk about in like strats and whatnot. But I guess I'm kind of having issues like coming up with other things. I really should have outlined this, but yeah. Anyways, so this game's like I don't know. This game is very similar to the first Metal Gear Solid, but kind of in like a redactive way. In that like it reminds you of certain like elements from the previous game, but it doesn't really give you the experience of the previous games. I don't know, James Howell went into this point about how like Metal Gear Solid 2 like very what's the word? Very deliberately invokes nostalgia, but it also doesn't offer like the joys and like highs of that previous experience. It kind of like revisits certain topics, but not exactly in a fun way. And yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly like how to clarify on that, but James Howell really went onto that point in a really cool way. So now the like we're gonna enter the kind of gimmicky section, but in order to enter the gimmicky section, we have to backtrack for a weapon to kind of hide from the enemy. And this game's backtracking, I mean, I mentioned it before, but I do prefer it a lot more over Metal Gear Solid 1's backtracking, because like I mean, this game's backtracking is very minimal. It's just like, oh, it's two areas away, you know, whatever. It's and the areas are small, but then you get to like Metal Gear Solid 1, like, oh, you have to backtrack like 2, 3, 4 areas away. It's like, ah, bro, come on. And well, the whole card key business. I mean, I went over that, didn't I? I mean, oh my goodness. So yeah. So here I'm just kind of skipping cutscenes.
Why did they have to bring...
I will say, I do think that the codec conversations of like the first Metal Gear Solid game will probably age better. Not because of the writing or anything or the story. It's more the style. Like the first game employed like these stylized like portraits for like the characters talking, while here it's actual in-game models. It's like, oh, they're in-game models. You know, we're advanced in technology and all that. But you know, I mean, the stylized portraits just age so nicely. And anyways, so this suit we're wearing here, one advantage which it might have is that enemies will have a harder time seeing you. So it kind of gives you a little bit more leeway to sneak past them, and like that, it has some uses, like minimal uses, but still some uses. So there's that. But anyways, here we're gonna go into the box to kind of move on with the game and all that. But Metal Gear has always kind of had an issue with copying itself. Like, I mean, the first Metal Gear Solid released, it was like kind of one of Kojima's like first big projects or whatever. And then they were like, yo, we gotta make a sequel. Or I forgot how the story goes. It kind of goes that like Kojima heard that like there was an NES port of his game, and that they were planning a sequel to that game, and he didn't want that to happen. Something like that. I'm not 100% sure on this, but once he heard that story, he immediately got to work on a sequel to like Metal Gear, and he pretty much just wanted to make like a way better game, you know, like the best sequel ever. And he made Metal Gear 2, and it was pretty badass. And then after that, he kind of got a deal to make a game with Sony. It's like, yo, let's go. So then Metal Gear Solid happened, but in the process of all this, I don't know, Metal Gear 2 is very similar to the first Metal Gear in a lot of ways. And then we get to Metal Gear Solid, which is also very similar to Metal Gear 2 in a lot of ways. But now we reach Metal Gear Solid 2, and this one is similar to Metal Gear Solid, but for like contextual meta, like narrative purposes, and woo, postmodernism, woo, and all that. Though, like, this game, postmodernism, like, I don't think I can ever go into depth about postmodernism same way James Howell did it, but like, I'm not sure if this game is really 100% postmodern, because it still kind of has a bit of a basis in reality. Like, a lot of this is based on your experience of the first Metal Gear Solid. Oh yeah, here's some tech. So if you shoot like a tranquilizer dart into a guard, like if you and they're not knocked out, you can like, you know, knock them down with a melee attack, and they will go to sleep immediately because they have a tranquilizer dart in them. So the VR missions, I don't really like them much, but there is some value to them in the sense that you do get to explore some techniques which you aren't really incentivized or forced to explore in the main game. Like, for one, sometimes you just don't have any tranquilizer ammo in the VR missions, and you still need to knock out enemies. How do we go about that? Well, there is actually a very special technique which it doesn't really have any hassle, where if you punch a guard in the nuts, it will automatically knock them out. Like, you know, one hit, boom, bam. So in those sections where, you know, you need to knock a guard out but you don't have any ammo, boom, punch them in the nuts. But in the main, wow, in the main game, you never really need to explore that avenue. So it's kind of like, it's nice that like the increased difficulty of the VR missions kind of forces you to explore some more gameplay options, which you wouldn't normally explore in the main game because it just never really forces you to. I mean, the ammo of your like tranquilizer here is just always good. However, I mean, future games would find new restrictions on the tranquilizer, like new negative like qualities of the tranquilizer, in order to make it like less viable. Though it is still like one of the most viable weapons. I don't know. Metal Gear Solid 3 kind of adds like a suppressor limit, where pretty much like the more you use it, the more it degrades, and then at one point you won't have a suppressor if you keep spamming it. So it's like wow. So here I'm gonna run through that bridge and make everything fall, because when we come back, it will all be there. However, when we come back, do not do the same thing. Actually take the careful route, which doesn't make those things fall, because that the second time through, it's not going to get fixed. So here, our goal is to take out all the cameras, and I do spend a little more time than necessary, like, being careful, but to be fair, I think I do also spend a lot of time trying to get SOCOM ammo, because I just don't have enough to take out all the cameras in, like, this area. And the reason we're going to take out all the cameras is because we're going to be coming back through here for, like, a grand epic escape during a rather tense, like, stealth, like, sequence where there's, like, a couple more guards on alert, and we don't have the security of our social stealth, like, get up here. So definitely got to take out all the cameras, but first get some ammo, and thankfully some of these lockers do have some ammo. Or wait, nope, actually I don't think any of these lockers had like pistol ammo. I actually go to the left side to find some more ammo and go from there. But yeah, at the very least, like, I don't know, when it comes to like the Metal Gear games copying each other, like, at the very, I'm just glad that like Metal Gear Solid 2 found a really interesting and like unique way to kind of go about that. And you know, it might be like, hey, they're copying ideas from previous games, but it actually has like thematic purpose in this game. So it's like, you know, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. And the Metal Gear Solid games like after this one tend to be a little bit more off the walls in terms of like design and also just story and all that. They don't tend to copy the previous games all that much, though there is maybe some things to say about Snake Eater being very similar to the first Metal Gear Solid, though it's been a while since I experienced the stories of either of those games. And to be fair, on this replay of Metal Gear Solid 2, I did not watch the cutscenes because I'm rushing through the game. Like, I mean, if I actually watched all the cutscenes while recording footage, I mean, this would be like 8 hours, because there is like 5 hours of cutscenes, which I do love. And that's another thing, this game and cutscenes. So I mean, Metal Gear Solid has always been a series, well, more like when Metal Gear Solid 1 came around, like, it's always been a series that's been, like, you know, heavily like signified by its incredibly long ass cutscenes. And it's kind of like, oh, I mean, it's more like a movie than a game. And like, to be fair, I mean, I guess sometimes you can go through the game faster than, like, you know, the actual cutscenes in the game. So it's like, there's like some truth to that. But these games are still games. Like, I mean, I mentioned how, like, I mean, yeah, most of this like playthrough here is going to be mostly gameplay, unlike something like Splinter Cell Conviction, which kind of mixes story and gameplay for a very bad, unskippable effect. And like this, but to be fair, if you're actually watching the cutscenes in this game, like, it is a lot of cutscenes. So like, you'll be going through like rather brief gameplay sections, and then suddenly, boom, you're thrust into like a 30-minute, 40-minute long cutscene, like dialogue about like the Patriots and all that. It's like, oh my goodness. But I do love that stuff, though. Like, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 1's like a very solid like, action film, while here it's kind of dealing with a lot of weird like topics and all that. Like, I mean, the story of this game, it's always like, it has a lot of great things about it, but then there's also other things which I'm not that big on. Like, I don't know, the bomb disposal guy kind of comes and goes, and he does have some like relevance to like the thematic like purposes of this game, like kind of how this whole game is about like the mimetic nature of like trying to recreate Solid Snake. So here we have the bomb disposal guy like trying to teach like his own like mimetic information to Fatman, and that kind of backfires in his face, but it's kind of dealing with those same kind of issues and all that. It's like, okay, cool. And yeah, I don't know where I was gonna go with that, but I don't know, some characters don't really vibe with me that hard, though. I guess like the evil bad guys in this game, I kind of like the group which is supposed to like replicate the, now what was the name of that group in Metal Gear Solid 1, like the main bad guys, like Foxhound, Fox Die, I don't know, man, like the Foxhound people in like Metal Gear Solid 1, like they're all like pretty memorable. But then you get to this game and you have Fortune, which, I mean, like, she has some cool connections to like the commander in like the tanker section, but she's just kind of like, I want to die, why won't you let me die? Like, I mean, okay, alright. And also, she's involved in one of the more nonsensical portions of the game near the end. I don't know, I mean, I guess, I mean, if you're watching a video on Metal Gear Solid 2, like the full playthrough, I mean, I might as well spoil it. What is the point of her, like, actually deflecting the bullets? Like, I mean, like, the whole twist with Ocelot being like, oh yeah, that's just, you know, technology. Whoa, it's like shocking, but then she can actually dodge the bullets. I mean, like, what was the point of that? Like, I mean, is there, like, it just kind of seems like an ass pull. Like, is it just an ass pull, or is there like some purpose beyond it, like to the themes or whatnot? Because like that's one moment of the game which I always just kind of read as nonsense to me. And then there's Vamp, who's just kind of there. I mean, he can do cool stuff. I mean, I guess the one cool thing about Vamp is that it really kind of accentuates that this game kind of feels like a nightmare. Like, what the fuck? What is he doing? So I guess, I mean, he has some purpose there, but beyond that, man, he's just kind of boring. Like, okay. Like, alright. Oh, yeah, I mean, I've been avoiding talking about strategies because I kind of got lost up in complaining about Metal Gear Solid 2. But anyway, so... Alright, how do I go about this? So, like... okay. Alright, serious now. So, in the previous room, you can just like knock on those like boxes and it'll like draw a guard to like pretty much show up where I went, and then like once his back is turned to me, I grab him, I take him to the retinal scanner, boom, I scan his face, we enter the room, boom, like Splinter Cell, but like a little more simple, ba bing bada boom. And then like in the previous rooms, it's not too hard. I mean, in that one room I was taking out cameras, but then in the next room I just need to pick up a microphone from like the B2 place. But then once you have the microphone, you can go to the B1, you know, do the retinal scanner stuff and yada yada. I mean, like the first two rooms, you know, like the first time you enter like this big middle shell, it's mostly just don't run into guards because that'll knock off your costume. And since it's such tight spaces and like the guards are like in kind of tight like coordinates, you gotta like be aware of your surroundings that you don't like knock into anyone. And now in this place where you have to point a microphone at Ames to talk to him, it's random where he spawns. So he could either spawn in a really easy place to like talk to him, or he could spawn here, which is like one of the worst places he could spawn. They're surrounded by enemy eyes, and there's always like one guy who's close by to hear you say, "You're Ames, aren't you?" So like, I mean, even if I do it correctly, there'll still be a guy going, "Huh, what was that just now?" Like, I mean, it's just like, it's such a horrible place for this guy to spawn. Just bad luck. But I dealt with it. I don't know. One way I deal with it is that I look at a guard who's looking at me. And, you know, if the guard is still looking at me, I'll continue looking at him because he's still a threat. But once that guard stops looking at me and is like far away enough that I can do the Ames thing, I scan the room quickly to see if anyone else is looking at me. And if someone else is looking at me, I start looking at them, because I know that they're an immediate threat and I need to have my eye on them. So I just keep looking at them until they look away, and then I do a quick scan of the room, and I keep doing this until my quick scan of the room, like, you know, kind of quick look around, shows that no one is looking directly at me. Then I pull out the microphone to talk to Ames, and that's only if he spawns in that very complicated spot. It's just, it's a hassle to deal with, but sometimes you won't have to deal with it, so it just kind of depends on the random spawning, a little bit of RNG there. So anyways, here we wait for the guard to turn his back on us, and then we take him out there, and now we're going to move up to the next floor, which is also like a little bit challenging here and there, but nothing too bad as long as you know what you're doing. And well, if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna get shot. So here we're gonna have one of the heavy guards next to us, and we're gonna hold him up, and bada bing bada boom, he's gonna, like, if you let him like continue with that animation, he's gonna turn on you, because you can never really hold him up. He's just pretending to be held up. And now here I'm gonna quickly take these guys out, but I make a mistake. I don't know what mistake I make. I mean, I'd have to review James Howell's video, because, I mean, he did something very similar, but he did not cause a caution state. And this caution state, it screws me over. It kind of makes me waste a little time later on. So like, I don't know like how he took out those two guards, but he did not cause a caution state. He actually made it that no guard got alerted. I mean, like, that area is like in a caution state, but I have a feeling that if you leave that area without doing what I did, like, you wouldn't have the caution state when you step outside here. However, I did cause a caution state, which means now this area is in caution. Though, to be fair, this area in particular I don't think is affected by the caution state, but like the next area will be, which means I'm going to wait outside the door until the caution state stops, because I do not have a strategy to deal with the extra guards which show up during the caution state. So here I'm going to take out, you know, those drones while I'm with the chafe grenade. And also I did the chafe grenade just so that I can actually take out all those drones. And also I'm going to need to take out all those drones because I need to actually kind of take a little bit more of a slow approach. I have to pretty much put my back against this wall and then pretty much shimmy around here so that these panels don't fall, because we're going to go back to this area near the end of the game and we need these panels inbound, like, you know, on board. So because there's going to be time limit. It's going to be a big time limit. It's going to be a big thing. So if you actually walk through here with, you know, making the things fall, they're going to stay falling and you're going to have to do something else, and it's going to be stressful, and I don't like that. I do not like that. But yeah, I don't know how to avoid that caution state. I mean, I got past the enemies just fine, all sneaky, but there's better ways to go about that. So yeah, stay to the middle here, because I mean, like, this area is mined. So like I had to like kind of crouch. I had to like start lying on my belly and all that to like kind of collect the mines. That's how you don't get blown up by the mines. Like you could pick up a mine, like you actually get a call from one of the characters to pick up a mine detector before entering that area. But I mean, oh no, my big boss run is ruined. I accidentally equipped the swag wig. No, oh, we were doing so well with my 10 saves. No, you can't do this to me, man. Oh man. So yeah, here I'm just waiting out the caution state before entering the next room because like my strategies don't work with the extra guards that come from a caution state. So here, just kind of waiting it out. So yeah, here we're actually backtracking once again to pick up another item. And oh, did I say the strategy for picking up the AK? I don't think I did. I think I was so busy talking about Metal Gear that I didn't talk about my strategy beforehand. But I guess, like, I don't know, looking at my footage, it should have been pretty self-explanatory. Just kind of take out the guards on top, the guards on bottom, then drop down to pick up the AK here. But now here, we're here to pick up the sniper rifle. And also, I pick up the non-lethal sniper rifle, but to be fair, like, later on, I do not use it. So there's really no reason for me to pick it up. But if you're going for a non-lethal run, then that's where it is. So do feel free to pick that up. And yeah, and I mean, for this section we only need to take out the guards on top because the guards on bottom, it really won't matter given the area we're going to. And there are other goodies to get in this area, but I don't get them mostly because I was following James Howell's video. Though to be fair, I think I kind of suffer for it because I think that area has this one like grenade launcher which is very useful in the Vamp fight, but I don't pick it up. And it's like, oh yeah, the Vamp fight, so that'll be a thing that happens later. So yeah, I mean, a mistake on my part, but I do recommend that you pick up the grenade launcher before heading to the Vamp fight. I don't know exactly where it is. It should be in that strut F place, but yeah, I recommend you do that. It is rather useful. So anyways, here I kind of screw up. I take out this guy on the left, this guy on the left, and then I take out the guy who kind of like exits from the stairs, I think. And then like that alerts one of that kind of almost alerts this guy, but then I also take him out. So boom, they're all gone. And now we're just gonna walk through just all nonchalantly. But yeah, I had to pick up the sniper rifle for this next section, which is kind of a little bit of a gimmicky section where I shoot things, and also I struggle with it because like I was like, kind of guessing a lot of time, but it's like pretty all right. It's not too hard of a puzzle, but we're not even there yet. But yeah, so here the strategy is just to run through, and then once you run through, it's all good. And now this time we're gonna be heading to like the middle door. So I wonder how many people I take out this time. Oh, I guess I'm trying to take out that guy quickly. Oh, I'm missing all my shots. Cool. And why did I shoot there? Oh my goodness. So yeah, this game has pressure sensitive buttons. Like, I don't know, one thing you can do is that you can lightly hold the square button, then lightly let go of it to like pretty much draw your weapon, but also like put it down. Oh my goodness, I was so lucky. I don't know how that guard didn't see me, but I'm just glad he didn't. But yeah, I mean, like on a one pressure sensitive thing you can do is that you can lightly hold the square button to kind of draw your weapon, and then like lightly let go of it to like not shoot and put it down. But that's finicky. It requires like a weird muscle memory, and I don't like it. But to be fair, it's also not necessary because there is other ways to put your weapon down. If you like deselect your weapon, if you like kind of deselect your weapon using like the triggers, like, you know, the quick triggers, like tap or whatever, flick, you can like put it down and you won't shoot anything. So that's like one way to do it, like that. So you don't really need to mess around with the square stuff. So anyways, here I'm gonna fiddle around with this game's first person mode, but I'm so close to this wall that like the gun doesn't allow me to shoot. So it's like, oh, it's so close, I can't shoot it, no. And now here I fiddled around until it's just right. So I mean, it's something which like some modern games still have. I mean, kind of the whole, ooh, the weapon's against the wall, oh, I can't move it. I don't know, I mean, I guess one thing I really like about this game, well, I don't know, I mean, I don't want to complain about Metal Gear Solid 5, but I don't know, I guess, like, I mean, a big budget game back then was like a tightly detailed, you know, like, super graphically advanced, like, short game. I don't know, I mean, it has like a ton of details, I mean, it has like a ton of polish, and it's like, I don't know, you know, big budget, like modern action cutscenes, but yeah, like that's what a big budget game was back then. But a big budget game now is something designed to like pretty much like take as much time away from the player as possible, even if that means padding it out to fucking hell. which, to be fair, that is not unique to Metal Gear Solid 5, but it is something which Metal Gear Solid 5 fell prey to. But to be fair, that was also something which kind of happened with Peace Walker. But with Peace Walker, it was because like the console of that game was like lower budget, so they really couldn't like rely on spectacle too much. They had to find another thing, and another thing was just trying to get as much content as possible out of their environments, which meant a lot of padding here and there. But I mean, most of that was kind of inside content, so I mean, I could kind of get behind it. But that game still can have rather annoying sections, and it's just like But I kind of took that approach and made it and brought it to more like big budget, like AAA sensibilities on like, you know, PS3, PS4, and whatever. And man, look, I mean, I'm considering doing a video on Metal Gear Solid 5. I mean, it'd be hell. Like, it'd be like super hard and also just take a fuck ton of time. Because it's like Splinter Cell games have 10 missions, right? And like those videos are like 3 hours. And Metal Gear Solid 5 has like 50. And like just fucking multiply 3 hours by 5, it's 15 hours, 15-hour commentary video. I mean, I can barely keep my head straight for a 3-hour long video. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna like talk for 15 hours though. To be fair, I don't know if it would really be 15 hours though. To be fair, I mean, I'm using to be fair as a buffer between my words. Oh my goodness, I'm deconstructing the human language now. I can't believe this. But yeah, so the strategy here is to pretty much take out all the nodes, or like little green like control panels or whatever, and save the one for behind the flag for last, because that one's hidden and it's kind of hard to tell if you hit it or not. So if you save it for last, then you will be 100% sure if you hit it or not. Anyways, here starts the Harrier fight. But what I was describing, I'm not sure if it completely falls under big budget games. There's definitely like more, I don't know, academic terms for these kind of things. Like, I mean, because I mean, the design of this game is still kind of influenced by those early MSX games, but now with like far longer cutscene breaks. But there still is some of that like influence in there. And I guess, I mean, as the games go on, I mean, that doesn't change too much, but there is kind of like more of an adoption towards like the more open world structure that maybe certain other games are kind of adopted and all that, with something like Metal Gear Solid 5. But it's also very much influenced by some of the design elements they brought over in Peace Walker. But anyways, I'm going to stop talking about that because I'm not that knowledgeable on that topic, though I'll probably continue talking about it later in this video. So anyways, here's the Harrier fight. So you started off by picking up the Stinger, and then like the Harrier is like right in front of you, so just like pretty much go into Stinger mode, look up and start shooting at it. I only got 2 pot shots into it because I didn't do it fast enough. But you can get a couple more in there, and then like it'll fly away, and when it flies away, it'll do a missile attack. So follow like the Harrier until like it flies away to a point where you can't target it, and it's only like a small speck in your eye, but there's like a smoke trail behind it, so that's like kind of the slight way you can track it, though you can kind of lose it. And then like it'll shoot missiles at you, but like, you know, keep your target on it, shoot 1 missile at it when it's shooting at you, and then like exit the Stinger mode, and then go to the hanging thing and like hang, you know, like this thing, because that gives you iframes. So like that's like one of his attacks you do. So just kind of keep doing that. But like, I don't know, the first time you do that, he'll start flying around, and when he's flying around, you can get a couple pot shots in there. But then there comes a certain point, like in the second half of his flying around, where you can't do any more pot shots. And now here's an interesting divergence to the fight. So, and this attack, you avoid it by like doing the flipping thing the moment the bombs hit. When you see them like hit visually, like pretty much drop down at that point. And also here he's gonna do a bit of a different attack from his missile attack. It's the "I'll let you go out in style" attack. And this attack, you can actually shoot 2 missiles at him. However, I didn't catch him fast enough because I was kind of lost to where he was, so I only shot 1 just for safety. And every time he does "I'll let you go out in style" attack, he's gonna do a missile barrage. And the ideal thing to do is not this, but this does protect you, I guess, somewhat. So, I mean, this works, but my strategy is not this. I just screwed up by falling into the pit, and I didn't have enough time to go to the safety spot, which I prefer. Because the safety spot, which I prefer, allows me to deal more damage to him. While here, it's a little bit more uncertain. See, I missed that attack. Ow, ow, I don't like that. So, yeah, like, I mean, it's not advantageous to pretty much survive the missiles here, but there is a better spot to survive the missiles. And now here he's going to do a normal missile attack, which you can only attack him once, but I can't find them. So I just missed my opportunity to attack. And I could have sworn the missiles were supposed to hit me there. Like, that was a straight head-on, but not one. So now we're kind of in the second phase of his fight. So every time he does that missile attack, Well, no, every time he does like a missile attack after doing like his big like fire missile barrage, he's gonna do the machine gun stuff. And now here, this section is a little harder to deal with because we don't have a radar to see his movements. We have to like infer it a little bit more visually. So pretty much one thing to watch out for is that like look for like the slight movement of the machine gun fire. If you see it like kind of slowly coming to like the sides of the box you're hiding from, and if you see like the machine guns kind of disappear for like a few seconds, run to the other side because like his machine gun fire is being blocked by like the top like floor of this place. So that's like kind of your cue to go to the other side so you don't get shot. So that's kind of like the visual inference you have to like pick up on in order to deal with him now. So now here I did see this guy. So now you shoot him once and then like you kind of wait for the missile to shoot and then you quickly shoot another one and then quickly go to, wow, just pick up on that super good. And then we have the camera zooming in on Raiden's ass, objectifying him. Like, bro, you don't gotta do him like that. Oh my goodness. So I will say my boy is cheeked up, but to be fair, Raiden is not alone in this. My boy Snake also cheeked up. So anyways, here is the safety thing I was talking about. So hide in this corner and like pretty much like hide against like the front of the wall, but like all the way to the right. Like don't hide against the right wall. Hide all the way to like the front right of like this little area here, and you should be fine. Because I know sometimes I hit a little bit to the left and I got hit, and like, those missiles are a one-hit KO, so it's like shame. So then like you just kind of stand up, you get a few pot shots in there, and very nice. So now we just kind of wait for a missile attack to happen, and that's pretty much this fight. That's how it's gonna go. He has quite a bit of health. I guess the European Extreme gives him a little extra, so the fight drags a little. But you know, you gotta always be on the move, always be doing things, and also here, I was kind of unsure if he was going to do the machine gun attack, but he is. So now I quickly dash to get the box to kind of hide behind the pillar. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, use the box. Because if you don't have the box, you can't crouch walk around these things. But with the box, you can crouch walk around these things very successfully. So, you know, very nice. So do that. And I'm also using this Zone of the Enders box because it is a game that looks very cool, but I haven't played it yet. I do still need to play it. So yeah, just kind of follow what I said about the box before and you'll be fine. So yeah, we're using a box to hide behind a box. Yo, that's meta gaming right there. Oh my god. Oh, Kojima the genius here. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this. And here is Snake getting in the way. The real Solid Snake. Alright, so here we have reached the second half of the game, aka the weak link, pretty much. So I mentioned the point before that, like, I don't know, Metal Gear games kind of have a habit of having weaker second halves than their first halves when it comes to like stealth gameplay. Like, I don't know, I guess some point near the second half, like the stealth gameplay kind of goes out the window or just isn't as engaging as like those first couple chapters. Like I'm not sure if I can really attest this to the first Metal Gear. As for the second Metal Gear, I don't know. I'm not too familiar with that game. But for Metal Gear Solid, like, I don't know, the Metal Gear Solid, the first one, has a very unique issue where, like, it kind of starts off, like, the most challenging in the beginning, but then later on gets way more simple. Anyways, here we have, like, a very gimmicky section where we just kind of have to traverse to these, like, platforms here, and there's, like, a couple things that could be a little annoying. Like, I don't know, the little trick I did there where I jumped off, like, straight onto the platform, that's not usually how people do it. Like, I mean, you kind of straddle onto, like, the pipe. But I did that just to kind of avoid it, and also because James Howell kind of did it, and like, yo, that's a neat trick, I should do that. So anyways, here we have two guards, and here we're going to use the sniper rifle. Oh! So there is a reason to use, like, the non-lethal sniper rifle. Here it is. So yeah. I mean, there is also other reasons to use it if you're going for a big boss run, but there's gonna be a big section where like you would use it, but I don't use it. But here I am using it, and this is nice. I'll get into the other section when we get there, but yeah. So I mean, the first Metal Gear Solid, like, it starts off with like that huge snow field, and like there's just so many ways to like approach that environment, and there's also so many ways which the enemy can notice you, like the footprints you make in the snow, and it's just like it's such a well-designed area, and it's also like so complicated, like the amount of things happening. But then as you go on in the game, it gets less complicated as it goes along. So you kind of start off with like one of your most complicated stealth like rooms, and then like everything else just doesn't really compare to what they did in that first part. So it's like the big snowfield, like the helipad and all that. And it's like one of the very first things in the game too. So it's weird. And then it just kind of devolves into action set pieces and all that. Though not to say it isn't bad. I mean, some of the action set pieces can be pretty rad, but yeah. And now here, Metal Gear Solid 2, we have gone from the highs of the tanker section and kind of the bomb disposal stuff to some more gimmicky sections, some more awful sections, and just straight on action. Though I will say some of these gimmicky parts can be kind of neat, and the action set pieces definitely have some huge catharsis and payoff to them. Like the finale of this game is absolutely insane, and I love it for it. It may be my favorite finale in the series, like in terms of set pieces and scenarios. Just it's absolutely inspired, but like the stealth gameplay kind of goes out the window. So like the detractors of like Metal Gear Solid, like when they say that the stealth gameplay can be kind of shallow, like I think they're more referring to this, because like I mean it really is not as like the stealth, like actually sneaking around, like that stealth gameplay you were kind of enjoying for like the first couple hours of the game isn't really here anymore. Like, I don't know, we have this section. I don't know, I mean, we have a couple drones here. I mean, we have, like, some enemies to watch out for, but it's more, like, set-piece railroady. We've kind of gone past, like, the unique, like, kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. Well-designed stealth gameplay? I don't know. It's not well-designed. There's still some design going on here. But to be fair, Metal Gear Solid 2 has the unique disadvantage of having some of the worst parts of the entire game in this section. So you can kind of point to those and say, yeah, it kind of goes to shit here. But, like, the ending makes up for it, like, highly. And, like, the section right now isn't too bad, but, like, it gets worse. As for Snake Eater, that game is probably like one of the most consistently solid Metal Gear Solid games. Like it never really dips in quality, though I will say that near the second half, it's like the kind of camouflage gameplay takes a huge backseat, which is kind of a shame, because like the last couple sneaking challenges are purely in areas where camouflage is kind of just not possible. And camouflage was like a really fun thing about Snake Eater, so it's like, oh, that's a shame. And also more action-y set pieces and all that. Though there is like one final hurrah for the camouflage stuff, but it's like an escort mission. Though I do kind of like the escort mission in Snake Eater. I definitely like it more than the escort mission in this game, though. Too, I have not played Snake Eater in a while. Like I don't know, like I mean, the way Snake Eater did it, I think it was kind of inspired. But maybe inspired's not the right word. I don't know, inspired's a nice word to use when you want to say something's good. But like, yeah. So like, I think you can actually jump this like hole, but I decided not to because I was scared. I was like, oh, I don't want to jump it. But you could jump it. Wait, no, okay. I'll mention it when we get there, but we're not there yet. But then there's Metal Gear Solid 4. I mean, to be fair, Portable Ops came before Metal Gear Solid 4, but I only played that game once, so I don't know. And it doesn't really inspire me that much, so I don't like talking about it too much. Oh yeah, I should probably mention, so Metal Gear Solid 1 I've only beaten like twice or 3 times. Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and 4 I've beaten 6 to 7 times. So the PS2 games are my favorite, and there's a lot I like about 4, but 4 is also heavily flawed. And I don't know, one of those flaws is that it's kind of second half, kind of, I don't know, the last three-thirds of the game is a letdown in terms of stealth gameplay, because like the first 2 chapters kind of have this perfect blend of like Snake Eater's camouflage gameplay with something a little bit more like simplistic, so you don't have to go into the menu all the time. It's kind of like, oh, you're in the war zone and all that, and it's like actual stealth fun, sneaking around enemies, like shooting each other. Like it was super cool. But then you get to chapter 3 and it's like, oh, the whole thing's a tailing mission, then it's an on-rail shooter, then we have like the worst boss in the game. Oh, okay. Like, alright. And then chapter 4 is like, oh, we're sneaking against robots, which means there's no real fun ways to manipulate them. Oh. Okay. Alright. Though Chapter 4 does have some pretty stellar boss fights. It makes up for the chapter, which is mostly kind of dull, and is mostly just carried by the fact that it's a really fantastic recreation of, like, Shadow... Whoa! I'm spoiling future games. Oh my goodness, I forgot about that. But then we get to Chapter 5, which is, like, has one sneaking thing at the beginning, though it is, like, a rather challenging one. But, you know, cool, sneaking, and then after that it's all action. Though it does end off with a very legendary final boss. And that'll be Metal Gear Solid 4. But like that like stealth gameplay of like the first two chapters just never shows up again, and it's so frustrating. Because I mean, Chapter 3 could have been the best chapter in the game if it just allowed you to go at your own pace. But no, we needed the shitty tailing mission. It's like, oh, okay, I guess. And then I don't know, Peace Walker. I mean, it's pretty consistent, though I don't know, I have issues with Peace Walker, though the second kind of side quest like part of the game where you have to unlock the secret ending, that stuff drags like hell. And then we get to the Phantom Pain, who for a game that already has a fuck ton of padding, they decided to make the second chapter even more padding. Like, I mean, it's not like the game goes bad in the first like part. It was all no, it's not like the game goes bad in like the second part. It was already kind of screwing the pooch in the first part in terms of like padding, but then they just went all in on it in the second part with repeating missions. It's just like, and I guess that's Metal Gear. I still need to play Ghost Babel. I hear that game is pretty swag. And anyways, here's the swimming section, which is bad, lame, controls like shit, not good, not swag at all. So yeah, like, I mean, you get to the second half, you know, oh, we've gone from like the smooth, fast, arcadey sneaking of the first couple chapters to swimming. Bad scenario. Glad they didn't repeat this. Ugh. I was gonna say something else. I slightly forgot. Metal Gear Solid 2. Oh yeah, I remember. So when I was recording these segmented runs, for some reason my footage of the swimming section disappeared, which meant I had to load up an earlier save and do it all over again. I was so furious because, like, I mean, I had zero idea how, like, I missed that footage. I could have sworn I exported it, but no, I didn't. And the thing is, this is not the last time it happened. This is only the first of 2 times this happened to me throughout my run of this game. Thankfully, every time this happened, I had a convenient save file, which allowed me to get back and record that section pretty, like, harmlessly, with no real, like, not much hassle, though it is annoying because now my footage has a bit of inconsistency because in the re-recorded footage I don't pick up the body armor, but like in my previous footage, which is now lost to time and like just to the ether, I did pick up the body armor. And this is important because I used the body armor later in this video, but in this video you're gonna be like, you never picked it up, what's going on? It's because the footage, which like just doesn't exist, even though I could have sworn I recorded it, had the body armor, but now this re-recorded footage doesn't. Just mad, I'm angry. So anyways, here, like, you could like follow a very like specific path to kind of guide the missile through, or you could just blow up those grates. So I don't know, I like Metal Gear when it kind of has little details like that, where it's like, oh, you could do something really complicated, or you can kind of, you know, just take a little bit more of an unconventional route, which makes things easier. Kind of cool. And like that unconventional stuff you don't tend to notice. It's like, you know, cool little details, you know. Thank you. So here we're gonna get our balls grabbed by the president, but I skipped that cutscene.
The Patriots. I wish to... That's right.
I thought he resigned.
That's right. It is a means to... This is card 4.
So now we have killed the president, and we're off to another bad section of the game, and also we're off to fight a very challenging boss fight, which I'll talk about more when we get there. Thankfully, like throughout this entire section, no enemies show up. Like, I mean, there'll be some enemies showing up near the escort mission, like once the escort mission like happens. And I guess I was a little slow on skipping the cutscenes there. Yo, my fault. But yeah. I will say one very helpful tool in no damaging this game is being in Discord VCs. Like, I don't know, I just kind of like just playing it by itself. I was getting a little bored, so I was like, all right, let's go talk with people. And I just kind of looked around at the many Discords I joined and just seeing like which one was available for VC or whatever, or which one was active. And like, I don't know, I mean, Discord, me and Discord, like I started off by like joining like a server which Devil Leon 7 like promoted, and then from there like I joined a few other like YouTubers like Discords, like Hyperbit Hero, like the Gaming Brits, and then I just kind of went from there. And then at one point I started advertising my videos in those Discords, just kind of shilling myself, and now I guess we're here. I mean, that's one part of it, I guess. So yeah, we're back to swimming. Still sucks. However, once we're done swimming, we're gonna enter a boss fight. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, swimming sucks. I mean, I guess I could explain it. Though, to be fair, even I don't know much about swimming. Like, okay, so I just recommend sticking close to the ground because most bombs are, like, above you. Though there is a very rare occasion where a bomb will actually be, like, below you, which means you'll actually have to, like, swim a little bit up. And, well, also you need to manage your breath. Though, to be fair, if you know where you're going, you'll rarely need to go up for these parts. But I get a little lost in these areas because, like, not only are these areas kind of confusing, I also don't have radar. So they're even more confusing to kind of navigate. And this area just isn't fun to learn how to explore. It's just like, man, it stinks. It's poopy. Don't like it. So here I'm just trying to find the stairs to Vamp's place. But it's just like, man, I don't even know. I don't even know. So yeah, just kind of stick to the ground. And here I was trying to find the body armor. Once again, I did not find it. I instead found the... We're not there yet, or are we? I instead found the... Let's hope it's the stairs for Vamp. Stairs for Vamp? No. Oh, well, we're getting there, though. Because this part is near that. So yeah, there's a bomb below there. So slowly make your way up there just to avoid that bomb. So yeah, I will be trying to not take damage during these oxygen parts. However, there is one oxygen part near the end of the game which I cannot avoid the damage. Oh yeah, me not being able to open that place reminds me of something European Extreme did in the tanker. Now, I don't think this ever happens during the plant chapter, because the plant chapter there's not multiple openings to go to areas, but like, I don't know, on easier, like, I don't know, the tanker, it has certain sections which you can like enter pretty much the next area through. Like, I don't know, when you first start the tanker section and you're outside like the rooms, there's like multiple doors outside, and you can enter all those doors on easier difficulties, so you can actually end up in like a later section of the level just by choosing the right door. But on European Extreme, you're locked out of certain doors, and it's just kind of like it's another design detail which I'm not that big on, because it's like oh, on harder difficulties there's less exploration or less routing. There's like, you know, it's like more strict on what you can do. It's like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, I get it because it wants you to like explore the areas like more. Like, you can't skip areas on harder difficulties, blah blah blah. But it's also like, I also kind of want the choice to skip areas on harder difficulties. You know, like, I'm not sure if this is the best way to make the game harder. So now here is the Vamp fight. So normally this fight would be absurdly difficult, because like, I don't know, just like dealing with him, like jumping from place to him, throwing knives, like, I mean, it's manageable. But then you get to his third phase where like he's jumping around. It's super hard to get a hit on him. He's always hitting you. Like, so instead I am going to adopt the cheese strategy. However, it is not an ideal cheese strategy, sadly, because an ideal cheese strategy would mean that I would use the grenade launcher to pretty much shoot at those pillars, which would like pretty much damage him while he's underwater. And then once I like damage him a lot, I can pretty much drop down here and wait for him to come up. And since I damaged him, it won't take him that long to get up. But now I have to pretty much like drop myself down here early so that he doesn't get a chance to do another thing. Because I don't know, like, I mean, his pattern is to pretty much wait for him to come here, wait for him to kind of do a 90-degree angle towards your location. Once he does that, get up, and you should have enough iframes to avoid his knife attack. Though when he approaches from the left, it's a little weird when to get up, but maybe get up around that point. Yeah, that should work. And then once he gets up, just kind of hit him with some melee attacks to do some nice non-lethal damage. Very cool, very nice. Yeah, so I immediately like drop down to hang there, because if I don't do it fast enough, sometimes Vamp has like a faster get up like period where he just immediately gets up and jumps on the railing, then starts throwing knives at you, and he'll just throw a knife at you if you're hanging down there, if you're not fast enough to like pretty much go down there. So yeah, you need to be really fast with this. I mean, with the grenade launcher, it makes things a little easier, but I do not have that with me, sadly, so I am doing this instead. See, look at that. He got up so fast that if I wasn't hanging before that, then he would just do his normal routine where he throws knives. And you can't avoid knives when you're hanging here, so, you know, it's just, ooh, dangerous. Wow, 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 wow. So I was referring to something else before this, like, oh yeah, the way like Metal Gear would kind of lock off certain exploration from like previous parts. Though I do think I kind of said everything that needed to be said about that. And also in the beginning, a cool little detail is that if you shoot the his head bullet, it'll deal more damage, like non-lethal and lethally. So it's hard to do, and I don't think I did it, but it's something you can do, and it's pretty cool. Like the wound he has on his head, because I don't know, you shot him before and all that. Very cool, very nice. And also, you don't really need level 3 grip, and that's another thing. So there's ways to like upgrade your grip in this game, but it's not really necessary. I mean, I think if you're trying to collect all the dog tags in this game, it might be necessary with Snake and the Tanker, because there's like a few enemies that you need like absurd grip to approach. Because like they're like way high up, and the only way to approach them is to hang. So like for Snake, you might need to upgrade your grip, and there is like a way to kind of do it fast, but it still takes a bit of time. But however, for Raiden, I don't really think there's any big parts that need a lot of grip, aside from maybe one optional route, which honestly the optional route isn't even that good. You might as well go with the other route. So it's just kind of like and I guess extra grip would maybe make this easier, but to be fair, it's already easy with level 1 grip, so you know how it is. Yeah. Oh yeah, and also, if you're fighting Vamp here normally, you're gonna need to shoot out the lights, because, like, I mean, in the third phase of his fight, he actually traps your shadow to the light, which means you can't move, and it means you can't dodge his knife attack. So yeah, get rid of all the lights before you reach the third phase if you're fighting him normally, but I am not fighting him normally. And oh, I missed my melee attack. Oh my goodness, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe this happened. So yeah, here hopefully this is gonna end the fight right now. But yeah, I don't know, this fight I'm not really feeling it, and like I don't know, from what I remember, I'd say that Metal Gear Solid 1 has like the better boss fights overall, because it has so many legendary fights back to back, and also like some of the fights in this game are just kind of worse versions of fights in the previous game. That's not to say this game only has bad boss fights, and oh, here he's doing some weird things. He's hopping from there to there, but like I'm not sure who I'd compare Vamp to from like Metal Gear Solid 1. Like well, all I say is that Fatman is a worse version of like Raven from the first game. Because in the first game, it actually felt like you can kind of sneak behind him, kind of do cool stuff here, while Fatman is just a mad chase, and the bombs kind of add some tedium to everything. Like, I mean, it adds some stress, but I don't know, Raven in like the first game, it's like, oh my goodness. Though to be fair, now that I'm thinking about it, I have no idea how I would tackle Raven in the first game without a radar. That scares me. Oh my goodness. And the first game, there's certain sections which I think you can't avoid damage, but to be fair, this game also has sections which you can't avoid damage for. So yeah, here we're gonna go back to swimming, and an escort mission is kind of like,
Colonel.
Oh dear. Like, I don't know what to talk about at this point. Oh my goodness. Oh, so the body armor was there. So I did pick it up in my recording, though. To be fair, this is not a re-recording, because I pretty much lost all my footage up to the Vamp fight. Like, I mean, I had the footage of the Vamp fight in this section, so this is the original footage. I did pick it up. Okay, so my footage is consistent. So yeah, you wouldn't even have known. So all right. Anyways, in this room, one of these lockers has a mine. Like, these lockers also have some extra supplies here and there, but some of them also have a mine. Also, one of the lockers actually has a more... add the noise. Add the big funny noise with the big stone face. Yeah, it has one of those, but I think that locker is the one with the explosive. You just kind of open it, it's like... Poof. And now here, I can't swim, blah, blah, blah. Escort mission, let's go.
Put your ear against my...
So James Howell, I mean, had a pretty interesting perspective on this part of the game where it's kind of like, I don't know, pretty much like Snake, like the way he handles, like, I don't know, his companions and all that in the first game, like people like Meryl and all that, is that they can pretty much handle themselves. But you reach this part with Emma and you have to like pretty much take care of everything they're doing. So you're kind of stuck with the burden of like taking care of them. While in the first game, you didn't really have to do that. There's like accommodations to like, you know, please the player. Like, oh yeah, they can handle themselves. Swag. Well, here you have to watch like Emma's every little move. She's like crippled. She can't walk. And also, I do not care if she like takes damage because these swimming sections are annoying. I do not feel compelled to learn them enough though, so that Emma doesn't take damage. As long as the chick isn't dead, that is good enough with me. Also, I keep mentioning James Howell a lot, but I forget if I mentioned this, but the dude sounds like Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Like, he just sounds like the guy from that movie. Just hopped off the screen, started a YouTube like gameplay channel, and just talked about Metal Gear Solid 2 like themes, physics, and like game design in an academic manner. It's just like, wow, that's just a very like compelling like combination of like concepts for a YouTube video. Also, there are invisible mines here. I believe they're on the left side, so if you just go exploring to the left side, you're gonna get blown up. And if you're walking with Emma, she blows up. Oh no. Oh yeah, so Emma here. So there's actually a part which kind of parallels like one of the parts in like Metal Gear Solid 1, but I will talk about it right now because I feel I'll forget about it if I don't mention it now. So you're gonna protect Emma from mines because she can't avoid them, but Meryl in the first game, she actually could avoid them for a rather weird reason with Psychus Mantis. Psychic Mantis. Oh no, it's Psycho Mantis, but he might as well be Psychic Mantis. But yeah, like, I don't know, she could avoid them, and it's like, alright, cool, she knows how to get past them. But here in this game, you have to get rid of them manually so that she doesn't die from stepping on one of them. So it's just kind of like another burden placed on the player, which is also kind of like as a way to kind of make Raiden feel like more of a loser than like Snake, just kind of because like Raiden really is not Snake. It's just like, oh my goodness, like, you are not Snake, bro. Oh my god. There's like a deeper reason for it, but I'm having trouble explaining it. Oh man. Another weird thing with Emma is that, like, I mean, she starts off with like a small amount of breath, like, oh, she runs out very quickly, but I swear that as the game goes on, her breaths get shorter and shorter. Look at that, it ran out so fast. It didn't run out that fast when we first started, but now I guess because she's like stressed or her heartbeat is like faster, like now like it's shorter. Oh my goodness, and now she's like slowly dying, but it's okay, we'll live. I'll find a nice little air bulb there. Cool. And I got myself that weapon I missed in like the storage, the strut F. So like if you miss certain items, they'll reappear in other places. Like for example, I think if you miss the thermal goggles in one place, it'll show up at the place where you need them, the sniping section, because you will need those goggles for the sniping section though. I forget if you actually do need them, because I forget if like I forget actually. I don't know if like the claymores are visible with the thermal goggles or not. Like if they're visible without the thermal goggles, I forget, but it's best to have them just because like they're small objects and you're really far away from them, so like you're gonna need those thermal goggles. So here, how far have we gotten in this part? Okay, I think we're pretty much done with the swimming. Thank you. And now here we've reached the bug section, and the bug section has a very particular way to get past it, and it's one which I kind of screw up here, which just kind of makes me waste a lot of time. But thing is, like, the puzzle here is that Emma will not like cross if there's bugs, like she'll get scared. But if you like choke her out and like just carry her like while having her in a chokehold, she can't resist. So yeah, just do that, and like now she will not run away from the bugs. However, I kind of screwed it up because, like, I don't know, the way like the chokeholds work in this game is that if you press the square button while like standing still, you can put someone in a chokehold. However, like standing still, but yet sometimes you have to like run up to someone to put them in a chokehold. However, if you're running and you press the square button, you'll instead do like a big judo flip or whatever on them, and that's what I did to Emma. I did not want to do that to her, but it's what happened. Anyways, here some enemies are actually gonna show up, and like, I guess this is why I don't like escort missions. At least I don't like the way it's implemented here, because it really limits the way you can approach the stealth in this area. It's like, you have to take these guys out. I mean, there's no other way around it. I mean, what, you're gonna like go through the area with Emma without these guys being knocked out? Like, I mean, like, I don't know, when you're on your own and like running at your own pace, you can like tackle these enemies, like, I don't know, in a lot of different ways, and maybe a lot of creative ways. And like the beginning of this game kind of has that creative, fun, like, you know, well-paced stealth. But now here, it's a lot more dictated by this escort, so a lot of your freedom is taken away just because you have to escort this person. Like, I mean, I just like, and like, I don't know, like the way Snake Eater did it, it's like a very big change from the rest of the game, and I think it works for that little brief section. But like here, it's just like, man, I kind of missed the stealth I was going through before then. And like, yeah, the escort missions always kind of have that feeling to them. Now, there was another game I wanted to mention escort missions for, but I forgot. I don't know. I say Resident Evil 4 actually does them pretty well, given that you can actually hide. There's moments you can like put her in to like a safe place, Ashley, and also she's not too bad or too much of a nuisance while hanging out with you. So it's like, it's not too bad. It's just a little bit of extra difficulty added on top. So I mean, it's manageable, but this is just kind of boring. It's kind of like, okay. Alright, and also just having to hold their hand the whole time. I mean, Snake Eater is kind of like, instead of having to hold their hand, you have to call them, and they're like dreadfully slow. But there's ways to get around that. And also, like, Snake Eater scenario is a lot more stressful. There's like enemies like encroaching on your position, and then there's like, you know, just these enemy fortresses, like an enemy like encampments throughout the grass and all that. And also, it's a little bit of a return of camo stealth. So it's like, whoa. And also, I mean, I heard this detail before. Well, I'll talk about that more if I ever do play Snake Eater. But here, we're going to shoot out the little drones. And also, there is an enemy, like a normal enemy flying around. No, not flying around, but just hanging out on this bridge somewhere. So I'm going to activate my non-lethal choice and take them out. Oh, yeah, right there. Boom, we're going to take that guy out. Wherever we need to move a little bit to get a vantage point on him. Bada-bing, bada-boom. Take him out. So I'm told that this guy only appears on European Extreme, which is just funny. And now there is another enemy, but they're way ahead, so we might as well carry Emma there and just kind of go from there. So yeah, this is like pretty much the last couple of like, this is the last little morsel of stealth gameplay, and it's very like not as fun, more restrictive stealth, and it's slower. And it's just like, man, this is how we're going to end like the stealth portion of our... Oh, wait, no, actually, no. There is another portion of stealth gameplay before this, and it's a very memorable portion. I'll talk about it when we get there. So, yeah, there's an enemy around this point, so I'm just trying to scan to see where he is, because I don't know. Like, I mean, there was a strategy which, like, James Howell did with, like, timing his, like, approach with Emma, and it was weird. I didn't understand it, so I kind of just winged it, and it worked. So now we're free to go to where we need to go. However, there is one more obstacle, and it's fire. Ah! So now we need to use the coolant to take it out. And now this is a part which, like, in my first couple playthroughs, I really struggled with. And I don't know, I feel if I pick up the game after forgetting about it for a while, I might also forget how to do this. But I don't know, the way you kind of go about this is shoot at like the source of the fire. Don't shoot at the flames. So pretty much just like extinguish the ground, not like the flames above the ground. So just hit the ground. Swag. That should work, though I've had a bit of trouble in the past like managing this section, but this worked for me well enough. So yeah, we'll just kind of go from there, and I believe we are heading forward into a big part of the game. Yeah, a little cutscene there. Yeah, big boy. Alright, so the strategy for this next area, because I'm pretty sure I know what this next area is rush to like the opening, and yeah, but first tranquilizer. Rush to the opening. You'll have like a small amount of time to knock out both of these guards. So knock that guy out, and then where is? I accidentally caused a caution state. In fact, I think it's like I do this in a really messy fashion. Like, look at that. Oh, but I got him before he could do anything. And thankfully, this is one of those areas where the caution state really doesn't affect anything because it's like a really stranded area. So they can't really get any extra muscle to like help out. So even though there is a caution state, it means nothing. Though to be fair, I'm not supposed to get a caution state. I have no idea why like he went into a caution state like that. I thought the strategy was to take out those two guys. So it's like, what? So yeah, anyways, here we are going to head into the worst section of the game. So yeah. This is absolutely the worst section of the game coming up. So yeah, watch out for that. So yes, this is absolutely the most obnoxious part of this game. So it's like, okay, we went from like Sniper Wolf, like, oh, here's a sniping challenge with the boss fight, cool, to, it's just so much to manage, so annoying, it's so stressful. It's like, I hate this. And it's also one of the worst things to do on Vita. Like, honestly, Snake Eater runs pretty well on Vita, but this, Metal Gear Solid 2, I kind of can't stand at points because of the Olga fight and this section. And even on PS3, this is annoying. So yeah, take out the mines on like that first kind of line or whatever. And then from here, like, I mean, I do not do this at all in an optimal manner, but I'm just happy that I did it, like, that I actually just did it, period. So I'm just like, so there's going to be some mines over on like the third, like final line, the kind of layer, which like Emma walks through. But yeah, here, so I took out that first enemy which shows up on like the struck here, but there's gonna be more enemies showing up. And also sometimes I'll shoot like some ammo there just to like replenish. Oh, and it's not spawning. I have to shoot some more ammo. Boom, to kind of refill. Because sometimes you can run out of ammo, very weird, awkward moments. So yeah, here I don't know exactly which enemy you're supposed to shoot first, but I mean the way I did it, I shot enemies. Emma definitely took damage, but I don't care. I could not care less. At least it's not me. It ain't me. So here we're just kind of waiting for enemies to show up. And I'm using the thermal goggles just because I feel it's easier to notice the enemy, though. It does kind of take away from this game, from like this very nice like sunset vibe. Just a lot of nice orange glows. Looks very nice looking PS2 game. So yeah, kill that guy. Even though I did not kill that guy, I only really stunned him with bullets. Yeah, there we go. I killed him because you can see some blood coming out. And I ran out of ammo. I had to pick up ammo and I'm interrupted there. And also, you have to keep taking that one drug, which I forgot the name of, which the pentarime or whatever, because it steadies your aim, because if you don't take it, you're super shaky and can barely aim at enemies. And also, might as well take out these gun turrets while I'm at it. Though to be fair, don't get too caught up in taking out gun turrets, which are like in the future of the level, because sometimes gun turrets will like sneak up on our hostage here, our escort, Emma, while you're too busy shooting off like gun turrets off in the distance, the ones which aren't doing anything, and the ones which actually are doing something will be shooting Emma dead. But thankfully this she won't die here, but she will take a lot of damage, unlike me, because I take no damage. So yeah, there's gonna be some mines around this section, and I think I'm gonna take them out now. It seems like it, or no, I think I'm waiting for a certain guard to show up so I can kill him, and then once I kill him, I'll start taking out the mines over there. And the mines over there are a tricky business, because if you're positioned wrong, like on this part, you can actually miss one of them. And it happened that, like, I did everything in the level, but because I missed one mine, which is super well hidden, she died. I had to redo this entire thing, and it was so frustrating. So yeah, here we go. The guy showed up. I'm gonna kill him. Boom, and also you can take as many of those pills as you like, because they respawn. So once you're like done using one of them, like you'll get a box that respawns to give you like 5 more. So anyways, here we're gonna take out the mines here. So go, boom. And thankfully this game you can control with the control stick and the D-pad. Like there's uses for using both of them. Like the D-pad is more direct, so if you want to like go completely straight to, I don't know, say jump over grates like in the tanker section, the D-pad is very useful for that, because the control stick you can kind of move a little left, a little right, and there's a little bit of imprecision there. So anyways, here this is the mine which you can miss if you're not positioned right. So you have to like position yourself like way to like the left of your platform, yeah, like all the way over there, because if you're like not that close to that, you might miss it. Like I don't know, if you're in the middle here, I think like I'll miss it. Like here, I think there's gonna be footage of me like not. Yeah, there we go. You can't see it anymore. So it's like it's just so strange. You have to go all the way back there to actually see it. And if you don't see it, then you're screwed. And also, I took way too much time taking out those mines, and now a gun turret is shooting Emma dead. We gotta take care of that. So yeah, positioning matters. Ammo matters, and also I've completely given up on trying to do a non-lethal thing. I'm killing people. I'm killing a lot of people, though it will not compare to the amount of killing I'm gonna do later on. So I will say the thermal goggle look is kind of nice. I mean, I do like this shade of green, the blues, the reds not so much, but. And oh my goodness, Emma's being shot dead while I'm taking care of the mines. Oh wow, can't you just stay still? So, and I think that's a visual glitch. I have no idea why that happened. So yeah, there's gonna be more enemies like here, and I guess I'm just gonna take care of those. And now I gotta get some ammo so that the enemies there don't take her out. And thankfully, like after you take out that, oh, and I guess I'm gonna grab that too. And that's how I found out that you can get more of those pills. So very nice. I didn't know you actually could do that, but now I do. So now I'm trying to reorient myself and see what the hell's going on. So yeah, kill those guys there. And there we go. See, it's nice and orange. But I'm just gonna never make it nice and orange. And that guy took a while to die. And I did not kill that guy. So now like I have to move away from my position because like I'm like right on top of the ammo box, and that can take a bit of time. It could be a little annoying, a little bit of hassle. And I missed him completely. Oh my goodness, it's that type of frustration when you can kind of bite you in the ass later, and it's just like this section's so annoying. I can't stand it. Oh my goodness. Just looking at it frustrates me. And now here we kind of have to like kind of calculate for like distance, because I don't know. I mean, since you're so far away, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. Like when it comes to sniping sections, like Snake Eater has all the games beat, but that's unfair. That's unfair. Like 5 tried to do something similar, but it was a lot shallower and not as cool. So yeah. And there I killed a bird. Shame. Big shame. But yeah, once you take care of like that big pillar, the rest of these pillars will not have human enemies, but it will have these gun turrets, which are a little easier to deal with. And ooh. Oh wait, oh, human enemy. I missed him. Oh, I gotta get back to that. Get back to that, man. There's a human. He's gonna shoot Emma. Get back to that. Get back. Or was that just Emma? It might have just been Emma. So, on easier difficulties, Snake will call in to say, "Hey, yo, bro, call me if you need help." But on European Extreme, he'll do it when virtually most of the enemies have been taken care of. And I called Rose by accident. I was actually trying to call Snake because even though his help is kind of pointless at this point, I might as well just take it. Like, yeah, call my boy Snake. Call my boy Snake. Because like even if it's kind of virtually done, like I mean in my run through there was still like 1 or 2 more gun turrets around, so might as well take care of them while I can. And also the way Snake helps you out is that you have to look at something and then Snake will shoot it. So not Emma, but if Snake sees like a turret, little UAV, then I don't even know what UAV stands for, but it's around. So yeah, there, look at it, and then Snake will start shooting. Though he's a little slow on the uptake. I don't know. We could have probably taken care of that easier. We? Yeah, we, as in Raiden and me. You don't got that. You don't got the same connection I got, man. It's different. It's different. Raiden and me. We're connected. We're jacked. Then there we go. Snake's gonna shoot that guy out. And I decided to take off the thermal goggles this time because they're not really important anymore. It's just kind of look at that. Nice sun, nice dawn setting. You know, very nice, very nice. And as for this next section, I'm still going to kill people, but because it's Vamp, it doesn't count because he doesn't die. So yeah. So like, I'm just not gonna bother with any complications which non-lethal option brings. So I'm just gonna take this guy out. And also, I'm gonna take this chance to shoot Emma. Yeah. And thankfully she doesn't die, but I might have actually opened the wound that kills her later on. And now here, after that horrible like action set piece, which I just cannot stand at all, I absolutely loathe it. Now we're gonna get another little time countdown thing where you have to rush through the game. And now this isn't as memorable as some of the other ones in the game. Well, to be fair, the reason for it is memorable. It's like, oh my goodness, Emma's dying. We gotta go fast. But the other ones kind of stick in my mind more a little bit. But do they? But yeah. you're on a time limit. Let's go. And also, I guess it's a little. I think it would be self-explanatory, but the time limit stuff is actually faster on European Extreme. And also, I'm adopting these clothes just to have a little bit more leeway to not be seen by the enemy. And there's gonna be a guy showing up around there, so just kind of take him out. He's listening to music. He's like one of the last folks left on this place. And also, like, a lot of people are gone because like they're moving on to the next part of the plan. Blah blah blah, and there's still going to be like some UAVs though, I think, which is why I believe I'm going to throw a chaff grenade here. I believe so. Yeah, there we go. Chaff grenade. Which will take out the enemies. And also I'm going to activate it super fast because I ain't got time to waste. Boom. Wow. I ain't got time to shoot all these things. We got to go. And now like these tiles are in place for us to walk over, so yeah, we need those like in place to do this really quickly. And also because the chaff grenade runs on a limited time, so you can't waste too much time doing the slow route. You gotta do the fast route. And since I took out all the cameras here, oh, to be fair, I don't think the cameras matter much in this area anyways, because there's not gonna be any enemies. Look at all these bugs, like these. I don't know. James Howell brought up an interesting point that those bugs tend to show up as a bit of foreshadowing that something bad's gonna happen, and they're usually there. I guess kind of like the oranges in The Godfather. Yes, Metal Gear and The Godfather. I mean, one thing which gets compared more with like Metal Gear Solid is like Tom Clancy. Though, like, I'm telling you, I don't see the connection besides like some military stuff. And also, I guess like the first game was about nukes or whatever, when it was really more about other things. I mean, like it mentions nukes, but it's more like set dressing for some of the more interesting like character moments in like that first game or whatever. While this game is a little less about that. Like, that's just more the setting. It's not really what it's about. So I can't see myself comparing Tom Clancy to Metal Gear Solid. Though, I mean, I'm sure Tom Clancy has a better grasp of, like, character writing. Because I don't think one issue with, like, Metal Gear Solid 2 is that its writing can be rather bloated. Whether that's the original writing or the translation or localization or whatever. Like, I mean, who cares? I mean, it has issues. But, like, the stuff which he's writing is so interesting that it kind of makes you overlook the issues. And also just the topic and like the way it's handled and like the character moments really bring it all together. And now here is one moment which I can avoid damage. So like this little QT isn't too bad. You can kind of press the button pretty laxly, is that a word? Laxly is like a name too. I don't know, but like, yeah, you don't really need to press the button too hard in this part. You can kind of avoid taking damage pretty easily. And now here, but however, there's going to be a next section. So yeah. But we've pretty much reached the section where I cannot avoid damage. Like, the damage here is forced. So we're skipping some dialogue here. But this next section, I'm going to be forced to take damage. And there's nothing I can do about it. I am so sorry.
Olga,
I have failed you.
They're bound to find you.
Listen, I'll free you in a little while. Brace yourself.
I'm telling you, I can't avoid it. Like, it's a shame. Big shame. But yeah. So here we have to call Rose to pretty much like exit this place. And I don't know why I'm not doing it. I should. Oh, there we go. Yeah, bring it up. So yeah, once you call Rose, like, I mean, I'm going to take the opportunity to save. But it's pretty much like, even if you don't want to save, you have to do it. Because if you, like, don't do it, she'll call you anyways later on. But if you take the initiative to actually call her, you can speed things up. So, yeah. And as you can see here, like, that is, what, 6 hours? I thought this was the 3-hour video. What are you doing, man? I thought this was a big boss run. Nah, son, this is segmented. This is a segmented video. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess I never mentioned it because I thought maybe you would know. But the way to, like, skip these codecs super fast is by pressing square. So just press square and you can do that. So now I mentioned that my boy is cheeked up, and now the game's like, yeah, bro, let's see that boy. This video's gonna get demonetized. I can't believe this. I can't believe Kojima would design a game just to demonetize my channel. This is insane. So you can pick up medicine there, but frankly, I don't think it was ever really necessary for the strategy I involved. So here, the game breaks down, like, a ton of great, interesting codecs, like a lot of great voice work overall, like the voice glitches and all that. Just absolutely love that stuff. Just the atmosphere, the music changes. Oh, it's all, like, incredible. And I mean, Metal Gear Solid has really great music, but man, this is a standout in this game. So anyways, wait for that guard to turn around, then climb up these stairs, And okay, so you can do melee attacks while naked. However, like Raiden like always has to protect his balls. So like I mean, he'll do melee attacks, but he'll always have one hand on his crotch. So he'll be doing like punches with like one arm. It just looks super weak. And you can't do throws anymore. So and you also can't do chokeholds because that would require his balls to be exposed, and we can't have that. So once that guard turns around, pretty much just you don't have to do any flips. I just did that for flavor. And now go down here to get the box. The box is important. Then just walk up here with the box. There's a camera up ahead, so be kind of careful with it. But I was not. But I got lucky though. And now we're gonna wait here for this enemy to kind of come around. Come around. Now, James Howell, he mentioned that this area is very similar to like one of the first areas in Metal Gear Solid 1. It was like the tank hangar or whatever. You could see like a tank, and it's like the third area in the game. And like I mean, it's a cool little detail. It's kind of like a looping. It's kind of like a loop of that area, which kind of goes into like the derivative nature of sequels, which like Metal Gear Solid 2 is also commentating on. Though to be fair, I'm not the best analyst when it comes to that topic, but like yeah, it's like tackling like the nature of sequels. Like I mean, the Ray Raiden is like trying to copy Snake. It's like, oh my goodness, like it's very interesting stuff. But like if you want to learn more about like Metal Gear Solid 2's like meta narrative and like Nightmare Worlds or whatever, I recommend like watching Super Bunny Hop's like analysis on Metal Gear Solid 2, like pretty much necessary watching, and also James Howell video, which tackles a lot of points which not even Super Bunny Hop tackles. It's like, oh my goodness, like just great videos. The two of those. Absolutely watch those. They're absolutely fascinating if you want more insight into the game, and also just play the game. Like I mean, if you're first of all, just play the game. Period. First, it's a great game. Even though, I mean, it's got issues, but honestly, it's still great. Honestly, like the good points like vastly outweigh any negatives which this game might have. Just it's an absolutely like fantastic experience. And to be fair, I mean, if you watch this video up so far, you've kind of been spoiled on it. But like first time through, like completely blind after playing like the first Metal Gear Solid, it's a great experience. Like I mean, I regret playing this like before playing the first Metal Gear Solid, but I was screwed. Microsoft like just did not allow me. Microsoft, Sony, like a combination of elements made it that Metal Gear Solid could not exist on the first Xbox 360. So I just got screwed there. So anyways, here in your top right corner is just some chick, and we're just looking at her, and it's like, I don't know, James Howell brings with this idea that it's kind of creepy voyeurism, and yeah, I agree. It's like I mean, the stuff that's happening like in this part of the game is you're receiving a lot of kooky codec calls, and I guess like a lady just showing up in the top right corner of the screen is just another way of being like crazy and silly, but it's a little creepy. And yeah, I'll admit like Metal Gear Solid kind of has like a history of kind of having creepy stuff towards women, like I mean, Metal Gear Solid 1's VR mission. I mean, this is mostly from James Howell's like commentary, but he mentioned that like the VR missions in Metal Gear Solid 1, like the more of them that you would do, like there was this viewing mode where you could like view like Naomi, or was it Mei Ling, like as in first person. And, like the more VR missions you would do, like you would get closer to the model. It's like, sus, my guy. And Metal Gear Solid 3, I'd say is a little better about this stuff, but it does. I don't know. I don't know much about Metal Gear Solid 3 when it comes to that. I think it handles it a little better than other games. There's like a little bit more purpose, a little bit more like genre, like tropes involved with it to make it like better, because it's adapting more to like those James Bond movies or whatever. So like, all right. But then you have Metal Gear Solid 4 with those white rooms. It's just like, bro, creepy. Let's get out of here. Peace Walker. Damn, I don't think Peace Walker could have enough polygons to do anything that perverted, so it's like, I guess that's kind of a little save there. But then, oh wait, there was Portable Ops. I don't know what Portable Ops did. I kind of forgot most of that game. Like, I mean, Portable Ops isn't that bad. Like, it's fun. I mean, it's held back a lot by its controls on PSP, which I'm sure emulating it would solve a lot of those issues. And it has some fun sneak. I mean, since you're copying like Snake Eater, which is already fun by itself, you're bound to get some of its positive qualities. But overall, it's like, I'm just not buying it. Though to be fair, that's also kind of like my dislike of like Big Boss's prequel games. Like, I mean, Snake Eater's amazing, but then everything after that's kind of unnecessary. But that's a topic for another video. Yeah. And it was here we enter like the big action set piece mindfuck, and it is also one of the most difficult sections of the game. Here it's just in pure action. And on European Extreme, you don't get any healing items. Like, I've never found a ration. And to be fair, like if you're on the big boss run, you can never use a ration, or else you'll lose your big boss run. But I guess here you just straight up can't. So anyways, my strategy here is to hang back, shoot with a pistol a little bit, and also I'm not afraid to kill people. I'm gonna kill a lot of people. and then I'll use the stinger to see if anyone's alive. Because I don't know, if I move forward and some of them are still alive, I'll get shot. So anyways, here I'll like run past that line, then I'll run back, go to like the cover on the left side, then hide behind this like chest high wall here to get some cover. Now the only real complications here, there's a lot of fucking complications. There's like some people like way up above, which you can like barely see, and like they can shoot you. And you got these people with like swords, which like you can't really shoot with normal weaponry. You have to see. I pulled out the sword there because like that sword guy jumped on my place, and like I had to take him out. And like on a one weapon which you can kind of take these guys out is the sniper rifle. Now, thankfully, the sniper rifle here can also take them out like with the non-lethal rounds. So like the sword guys you can take out with non-lethal rounds if you're going for that big boss run. But I decided to just kill them because I've already killed enough people. I've given up on the big boss run, so I'm killing them. So anyways, here I'm gonna zoom in on this guy and just shoot him out. And also another thing about this part is that it's dark. I can barely see these guys. And to be fair, that was also kind of true of like the shootout near the beginning of the tanker section. No, near the end of the tanker section. But yeah, here, use the stinger to check if anyone's alive. And then I'm going to move forward. Because I mean, sometimes it's so dark that you can barely tell. And like the dude like on the top left, like on the bridge to the left side, you can barely see him. So like, I mean, he might just be high and he barely does anything. So anyways, here across that point, hide behind this wall. And like hiding here should like negate most of the damage. In fact, it's no damage. So like so far I've been no damaging this section, but that will not be true once we advance with it, because like man, this section as it moves along, I mean these first couple parts have like sections where you can kind of stay alive. But to be fair, it's not really about you. I mean, it is about you. You can die very easily in this part, but it's more about Snake. You have to protect Snake's ass. So once we get to this, so like hanging back kind of protects him, but he still took quite a bit of damage. But now here, you got to get on the offensive like a little bit. Get rid of these gun guys, and now the only cover I'm going to take is like kind of near this part. I'm going to like kind of hide there if I have to heal. But now I'm just killing these guys as they drop down. Just kind of trying to give Snake support. Because if you do nothing, then Snake will kind of get shredded to bits by the gun people. And also there's like people up above. And also James Howell's strategy, like once he reached like this section or like the section before, he threw a stun grenade which like stunned some of the enemies up above, which I guess Snake is like shooting or whatever. But I don't have any stun grenades. I have zero idea why I don't have any stun grenades. I could have sworn I collected some on my way here, but I don't have any. I'm so mad about that because I would have loved some stun grenades, but no stun grenades. You can't follow James Howell's strategy. You got to come up with some other bullshit on your own. Like, it was a struggle, man. It was a massive, massive struggle. And now also like this part of the game, it's like, it's weird that you introduced like a brand new moveset like this late into the game, and it's not the best moveset, like using the right stick to like slash at people, and it's just like, but I mean, I will say though, the melee combat in this game is better than Metal Gear Solid 1, which is not high praise, but considering that Metal Gear Solid 1 kind of had boss fights which were melee focused and its melee system wasn't that good, I mean, at the very least, this melee system is better. So anyways, here, I'm going to start this fight by just kind of assaulting people with my assault rifle, just because I mean, just kind of running in circles with that was like neat. But now the strategy is to just run in circles with my sword. And when I reach orange health here, I'm gonna run to like the beginning here, like this room, and then just kind of crouch. Now, you could kind of hang back here for a while and do other things, but then Snake will start to take big damage. So the reason I'm out here just kind of putting my life in danger is to distract the enemies from like screwing Snake over. So I mean, if you're involved here just kind of shooting things, that will make Snake's life easier, and when Snake's life is easier, your life is easier, because then he'll be killing enemies which can kill you, and it's just like a nice symbiotic relationship. Is symbiotic the right word? I mean, what's the good version of a parasitic like relationship? I don't think it's symbiotic. It's another word. I don't know. I forgot about 8th grade biology. So also like this section will like start fucking with you when like those like fake game over screens will show up saying fission failed, mailed. And the funny thing about those like fake game over screens, that I once got a game over while the fake game over screen was happening. So like you have like the fake game over screen, and then you have a smaller screen which is the actual game over screen over, like in that little square where the game is happening, a fake game over screen like appeared, and it was like, I was so pissed. And the thing is, when like once you press continue, like that, like only like that tiny section will like fade out. Like the fake game over screen overlay will still stay there until you enter the game. Then it'll just like snap snap away from it, but it won't actually fade out, which is just funny. So it's just like, So to be fair, I mean, I deleted all my failing footage. I deleted all my failing footage because I love my computer's storage space. So that's kind of gone to time. Though, actually, no, I might have actually clipped that. I don't know. I mean, I have a few clips of, like, odd situations in this game. I might upload them, but I don't know. I mean, it's a little bit of a thing to kind of go through. I also have some clips from, like, weird stuff happening in the Splinter Cell games, which I considered uploading at one point. And I do still kind of want to upload them, but I don't know. So something weird will happen is that sometimes enemies will get knocked down but not killed. And then they'll just have this super slow get-up animation when they have a bunch of iframes while getting up. And it's just like, man, really? Come on, man. Come on, man. But yeah, there's not much more to say to this fight. It's kind of mostly luck, mostly just kind of waiting things out. It's very long, but it's a very cathartic end, and also it has thematic purpose because, like, this is kind of the part where Raiden takes his own life into, like, his own hands. However, that's kind of taken away from him when he has to fight the Rays, and then he has to, like, become Solid Snake again in order to, like, pretty much, like, survive the simulation and all that. But that's something which James Howell goes into in greater detail in his video. And also, I will say, James Howell's video is shorter than mine. Like, his video is 2 hours and 11 minutes. Mine, we're at 2 hours and 27 minutes. And to be fair, that's mostly because I did not follow his strategies as efficiently as he did. So I wasted time in a lot of different areas. And also, the way I edited this video, like, there's, like, a few big sections where it's just me skipping cutscenes. So, like, that kind of adds to the time. And, yeah, so it mostly just amounts to me scrub, me bad, me scrub. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this fight or going on here, but like the music's awesome. I mean, I love how like the beginning of this like mindfuck section has like really tense horror music, and then they morph that horror music to be action based, and it sounds amazing. Love it a bit. Oh yeah, I should probably mention the body armor was very important during that section. However, it will not be important during this section because this section I will actually be trying to no damage. And also the body armor just looks kind of ugly. Like I prefer Raiden's like model when it's not wearing body armor. The body armor is just like an ugly addition to his character model. Like his exoscoot is already like pretty cool looking though. Though he's a little too cheeked up for his own good, bro. And it made him naked, bro. They took his skin away, man. Come on. They also took his blood, but that's another issue. Lol. So yeah, I'll just let the Solidus here talk.
The result is a Foxhound Commando. When Foxhound no longer exists, a simulated Solid Snake shaped by VR regimen. Sound like someone you know, Jack? I'm sorry to see you reduced to one of the Patriots' puppets. But I've made use of you, and their plan too. Solid Snake's sudden appearance, your arrival. It was obvious the Patriots were among my ranks. I had to smoke out the agent before the mission entered the final phase. You came in handy, as bait. Jack, those days during the Civil War were as real as they come. Every day was absolute, split between life and death. You ran from it. And now you've been led back to war by something less than real.
I mentioned that this game was pretty much all gameplay and there was no cinematic sequences, but I guess that was a lie, because that was a cinematic sequence. Anyways, the strategy here, aim for the leg of that one, and then boom. Aim at the leg of that one, and then boom. Wait for it to go boom. It goes boom, and then go for that one. Really quickly, gotta go. Get the leg of that one, and then boom, it opens. And then we're gonna go back to this guy. Boom, get him. Boom, it goes open. Boom. Then get that guy. Get the boom. Get him. Boom, and then go for him. And if he shoots missiles, you're screwed. If he doesn't shoot missiles, boom, get him. Then we're gonna go for this one. Boom, get this guy. And then boom, hit his face. And then we're gonna stop that because this guy's gonna jump on board. And if you continue shooting, that guy's gonna go fucking stomp on you. Ah! So here I fucked up. but not too much though, because I killed him there. But yeah, here is the Metal Gear Ray fight. You have to fight like friggin' 20 of these guys. Are you kidding me? Wow, that's insane. And here, I mean, that opening strategy really helps a lot. So pretty much, like, one of the most dangerous things that could happen is like these Metal Gear Rays will start shooting missiles, and when they start shooting missiles, you need to be on the move. You need to be moving out of there. Oh! But yeah, it's crazy like that. So yeah, I don't know, one thing is that if you have the time to do it, when they jump up, be ready with your stinger to pretty much shoot a missile at them. And also another useful tip is that, like, before, like, I don't know, there'll be a point where, like, after you damage them, like, you can't target them, but you can still shoot a missile. So, like, shoot a missile, like, before you can target them, but, like, you know, just, like, before you can target them, so that when you actually are targeting them, like, the missile hits them faster. Those don't watch out though. You can be too fast with this, so be careful about that. And also chafe grenades. So chafe grenades makes the missiles like not hit you as hard, though you can still maybe be hit by those missiles. Like, they don't target you as hard. However, you can still avoid the missiles without the chafe grenades, but chafe grenades can add a nice little breather section every now and then, though I still treat the missiles as dangerous. And I don't know, once I kill one of the Metal Gear Rays standing on the platform as me, or more like, yeah, once I kill one of them, I take a pot shot at one of the Metal Gear Rays outside, and only one of them, because if I do two of them, I might actually get stomped by the Metal Gear Ray that's going to get on board. I don't know, I mean, it's possible, but it's a risk I don't want to take. So, and also these Metal Gear Rays have attacks of their own. Like, they have the machine gun fire, which, to be fair, I mean, if you're on the offensive like I am right now, just constantly shooting their legs, shooting their mouth, then the machine gun attack really is not going to matter. And then there's some other attacks they can do if you're too close to them. Like, if you're right in front of them, like super close, they'll shoot a laser beam at you that like shoots way too fast. So, like, I mean, even my aggressive nature can't like deal with the laser beam. So it's best to just not be close to these Metal Gear Rays. And also, if you're like super close, like right by their feet, they'll stomp you. It's, bro, stop doing that. And also, there's an attack they can do, but they just stand like eerily still. And if you give them enough time to do the attack, they just shoot like homing missiles on you, which you gotta kind of be, you gotta like start like pretty much running, do like a flip to avoid, and it's just like, oh, there's a lot to deal with, but not that much. Like, this fight is super long. It's like 11 minutes long, and like it's like 11-12 minutes long. And it's easily the longest fight of the game, probably easily the most challenging fight in the game, just by how like much the game like requires you to do. But these Metal Gear Rays are not that hard once you know their patterns. They're pretty simple patterns and they're not that hard to deal with, but it's a bit of a lot to deal with. So just, you know, be careful, be prepared, you know, I mean, study them, and then once you do, you can do no damage. And now on European Extreme, it's like every one of these guys' attacks like pretty much one-shot you, so you pretty much have no choice but to no damage. And also that's because of all the damage I took before this section, and also I can't heal, so it's just kind of like bro. Like, it's just crazy like that. So yeah, I mentioned that like the previous sequence was like an unskippable cinematic part, but to be fair, like that moment feels earned, because it's like this huge revelation which like the entire game has been building towards. So for this moment to be a cinematic sequence, I don't mind it. Like, it's brief enough in a game that's mostly gameplay that, I mean, it's cool. Like, Conviction was doing it all the time, so it's like this feels a lot more earned. So, you know, very cool, very nice, and it's just such like a mindfuck in like a series, in like this section, which is already such a huge mindfuck. But yeah, I love this boss fight. And also, I mean, like, it is a very lengthy boss fight, but I've been prepared for it. Well, because I've replayed this game like 6 or 7 times, and I've done it on the Vita, which already makes this easier. But also because I've played the Kurukyo games, and the Kurukyo games have secret boss fights which last 30 minutes, and I've no damaged those very painfully. And you should watch those videos because they have commentary. Anyways, here's the homing attack. Ah! And something you do not want to do is run while you're in the middle of, one thing you don't want to do is press like the X button while you're like throwing a chafe grenade, because instead of doing the sick flip, you're gonna like pretty much crouch, and that screwed me over one of my attempts. So yeah, I don't know, there really isn't that much to say beyond all the strategies I mentioned. I mean, you know, just be on your toes, be on the lookout, and also when a Metal Gear Ray is leaving the area, position yourself in a place where the other Metal Gear Rays are not close to you, because if you're too close to them, they'll just jump straight on top of you. And like, I've had this situation happen where I get knocked on my ass by like the rumbling of them jumping on top of me. Though I'm not sure if it actually deals damage. Though in this attempt it doesn't happen because I was scared that it dealt damage, and I wanted to no damage this, so I just avoided that attack altogether. So you're not going to see it, but it has happened to me, and I do think it doesn't deal any damage because it doesn't kill you. it does not kill you, but it does kind of leave you stunned and open for them to attack you. So it's just like, ooh, there it is. That was stressful. That was so stressful. What the fuck? That was fucking insane. Like the missiles from like the robot like knees shot out, and the missiles which were targeting me were also coming after me, but I avoided it somehow. Like, oh my goodness, so much stress, so much stuff happening. Like, I mean, like, this boss fight isn't that hard, but man, situations like that can screw you over. It's just like, but I dealt with it. I dealt with it because that's what we do here. We deal with it. And like here, since the missiles are targeting me, I can't really attack this guy because I have to be constantly on the run away from those missiles targeting me. And then he shoots his knees missiles at me, like, oh my goodness. And I throw out the chafe grenade every now and then for like support, but it doesn't really help me that much. I just kind of throw it occasionally because, you know, why not? So by that, let's say, so you'll know you're done with this boss fight when you reach like the D, like Metal Gear raids. Like these Metal Gear raids all have different names, you know, like CO2H, CO3H. Once you reach like the D rank of these fights and like you kill off all the D's, then I think the fight will be over. You know, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's the A's. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's the B's. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, that's the C's. And then 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, that's the D's, man. That's how it is. That's how it is. So you just kind of go through that whole nonsense. So yeah, on lower difficulties, you have to kill less of these guys, but on the highest difficulty, 20, baby. 20 is how it is. It's how it is. So I mentioned that Discord helped me a lot in like going through this game, but also I never mentioned the topics I went through on Discord. I don't know. One lovely topic that kind of showed up was someone complaining about Crunchyroll because, I don't know, because they used the word sus in one of the localizations. But whatever point he was going on about, it just evolved into a racist rant, and he got suspended from Twitter, so serves him right. And then we move on to the number pad on a keyboard. Is it useful? Is it not? Is it good for like minimum wage workers? Yes? No? There's a lot of argument on this issue, and it was, I didn't understand a single part of what they were saying. And then there was Mario Party, and Mario Party is swag. Though 4 may not be as good as people say it is. And then we move on to knockoff Epic Rap Battles of History videos, and those knockoffs tend to have racism in them. Why? I don't know. They're knockoffs. And yeah, the topics just kind of bounce from here to there, and they've helped me make this video. So we cannot have this Metal Gear Solid video if we did not talk about Epic Rap Battle of History knockoffs. Most are lame, some are just not fun, and others are your last name is funny. So yeah. So yeah, like this section, like I mean, Raiden was kind of like earning his freedom when he was using the sword. It's like a weapon Snake would never use. He's kind of like distancing himself from like the identity of Snake, but now he has to return to the identity of Snake to take down all these Metal Gears, or else he will die. So it's kind of like the final part of the simulation he's forced to participate in to like become Solid Snake through memes and all that. So it's just like, because Snake always used this stinger to like defeat the Metal Gears, and now like Raiden has to tap into that to survive. So it's just like a really fucked situation for him. He was like starting to earn back some of his freedom, his individualism as a person, but now it's like stripped away from him for like this final set piece, and it's pretty grueling. And he doesn't even win, is the thing. Like once the cutscene once we like end this fight, like a cutscene plays where he does not win. Like he doesn't really succeed at like the full simulation. So that's just another like crazy thing. It's just a real depressing ride for Raiden. However, like after this, he gets like his one true chance to like do something like on his own terms, but it's still not a happy conclusion per se, because he is still being forced by the Patriots to kind of conclude with this. But at the very least, it's not part of like the simulation. Well, we'll get to that part when we get to that part, but I don't really have anything else to say about this part. But yeah, another thing which kind of like like I don't know, I mean, in the previous part we were kind of like in third person, while like the other sections of the game we were always like in first person. And when we're in first person, we're like entering the mind of Raiden. Like we're like becoming Raiden. We're taking away a part of his identity. But when we were using like the sword, we were mostly in third person. So like it's kind of like Raiden's like slowly distancing himself away from the player as well. But then he's like forced to pretty much endure being like Snake and also a vessel for the player during this sequence as well. And also this is all taken from James Howell's like video, and he goes into it a lot more in depth than I do. So yeah, go listen to him. He's swag video. But yeah, besides that, I don't have anything else to say about this fight.
Are you awake yet, Jack? GW, the Arsenal AI is corrupted beyond repair. I admit that I underestimated you.
So here is a part where I swear it's like near impossible to avoid damage, because like this QTE you have to spam so hard. He squeezes you so hard. I could not deal with it. Like I was spamming that button super hard. Like I was getting all that oxygen, and to be fair, I did not get every advantage I could take. Like there's something you could do where you could look at Snake to get like a couple more seconds of breath, and I did not do that, which, you know, big mistake on my part. I took a lot of damage though. To be fair, the next section of the game I am gonna try to no damage, so it doesn't even matter. Oh yeah, so these choking sections are also cinematic sequences, but they're cool. So anyways, here is kind of like something very similar to like the final boss of Metal Gear Solid 1, but instead we're using swords, and I like it better because like I like the sword combat better in this game than I do the melee combat in Metal Gear Solid 1. And this fight just has a lot of cool tricks, but like the thing I'm gonna try to do is get Solidus into a loop. I don't succeed at this 100%, but pretty much the way the loop works is so pretty much attack so that he blocks you, and then after he blocks you, you block, and then he'll like mostly do that kick, and then after he does that kick, get 2 hits in, and then wait for him to kind of get up and like cross his blades, and then pretty much slash him at that point because he'll block your attack at that point, and then you just loop him like that. Do not try to knock him down because that'll ruin the loop, and when you ruin the loop, you have to deal with his other attacks, like the missile. Excuse me, like the missiles. And the missiles can be weird. Like, I mean, my strategy for the missiles to pretty much fall off the building like near the end, and yeah, I knocked him down. I'm gonna get some distance behind him. There he goes. He's throwing the missile at me. I'm gonna fall off this building, then get back up, and hopefully like the iframes or like hiding from the missiles works well enough. And here I'm gonna do like some circle motions around Solidus, trying to bait out a certain attack, because like, I mean, for the most part you could just run up to Solidus and like slash him and like not suffer too many issues. However, there's one attack of his which that will not work, and it's one where he uses his tentacles to like sweep you off your feet. Like, I mean, if you just approach him straight on and he does that attack, you can't block that attack right there. So like, I keep some distance away from him just to like, you know, avoid that attack, because that attack has ruined me quite a few times. And oh, there we go, I knocked him down again. They did not want to do that. So yeah, missiles can fall off here, and this doesn't always work, but it worked well enough for me for the most part, but it's not 100% consistent that it will work. Oh yeah, so Solidus sometimes has those weird ass attacks where he like only slashes once, but the thing is like that those slashes are part of like a bigger combo, but sometimes he interrupts his combo for no reason, or that just doesn't follow through on it, which can screw up my timing, which is why I want to do this infinite loop, so I don't have to deal with nonsense like that. But even in this infinite loop, sometimes he rarely like retaliates with some of those weird ass attacks with like weird ass timings, and it's just like, bro, I just want you to do the funny kick. Yeah, look at that, he did it again, and then he can do that, and you can catch on fire, and then you'll take damage that way. Like, oh my god. So yeah, little circle movements, and if he doesn't do anything with his tentacles, then go ahead and try to get a little block attack in there and just kind of restart the loop. And man, does this guy have a lot of health. Like, oh my goodness, these boss fights can take quite out. So yeah, get a little bit of distance there. Ooh, got lucky there, got a little strike there. And yeah, I will be fighting this guy non-lethally. To be fair, I don't even think there is any advantage to fighting him lethally. Like, it's just, you're just taking down one health bar compared to another, so it's just like, what's the point of like going lethal? Like, I mean, at least with this guy. I mean, I can understand going lethal with like with normal enemies, because like, I mean, lethal attacks like cut them down faster to my knowledge than non-lethal attacks. But non-lethal here, it's like, just, you might as well do it. I mean, yes, might as well. So here we're entering the second phase, which can be easier, though something's kind of catch you off guard. So now he's gonna like bum rush you, like wow. So I go into first person mode to block his attacks, and I was honestly kind of lost, and I was kind of worried that I wouldn't be able to get him. But thankfully, like my first person mode like was facing him right when he was about to attack me, so I just kind of blocked him there. And then from here on out, like I want to do the loop. Like I want to do the loop, but if I screw up the loop, get a lot of distance like between him, because he'll pretty much just like always just rush you once because you're so far away, or he'll do that. However, like his combos are weird. He has this 3-hit combo where like the first 2 hits you can block, but then the 3rd hit you can't. So like I kind of want to avoid that because it can pop up if you like do like if you fight him normally. So now I'm just gonna continue looping him and hope for like that kick to keep coming out. So just kind of little loop. Come on, Brandon. We got this. We got this. That attack is fine. I like that attack. But there's like that one attack where it's just like, oh, and there we go. I screwed it up. Thankfully, no missiles and no tentacles. But he can do that. That's the attack. Like that 3rd hit will like your guard won't matter. You'll take damage. So it's very worrisome. But yeah, I believe I am almost. No, I'm not. He still has a huge chunk of health. It's just that his name is blocking his health. So yeah, just kind of dealing with that. But I don't know. I mean, I'm mostly done with this video. I don't really have much more to say. But yeah, oh, I screwed up there. So I don't know. I guess I'll just say thanks for watching. Oh yeah, that little elbow attack. I love the elbow attack. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this first deep dive into a Metal Gear Solid game. First Metal Gear Solid video I've made since my Phantom Pain review, all the way back in like what 2017. That's 4 years, right? Yeah, man, this channel sure has come a long way from then. I don't know. I guess the only thing I need to revisit to like complete the cycle is to do a Lomando no damage. I ain't got no plans for that though. I don't know. Next video I do want to do Deus Ex. However, I will say I do keep saying this, but I do have some homework to do. Like I mean, my school's gonna end in like a week or two, and I need to finish up some assignments, and that's gonna take quite a while. It's a bit of a stressful time now, though I do keep saying that, so maybe I'll find a loophole to avoid that, but I doubt it. So yeah, I'll see y'all then.